It's already, it is already time to stream. And I'm going to be honest, I haven't stopped this morning. It hasn't been, it hasn't, I haven't had a chance to stop at all. It's just straight, let's go from one thing to another. But I kind of like that. I kind of like staying busy. It was a great content creation day. It was a great content creation night last night. I finished my other project up. Real quick, I don't want to spoil the punchline of the other one, but I got the whole talking paper written out yesterday, and I was like, I'm just gonna go to bed. I'll do it in the morning. And I was like, no, that's counterintuitive to the nature of the video. Just knock it out now. It's gonna be like, it's gonna take you like 7 minutes to record. So just spend the 7 minutes and record it. I ended up recording the whole video, processing it, making the thumbnail, writing the description, doing the tags. And it was great because I didn't go to bed that much later because I know what I would have done. We all know what we all are going to do when we say we're going to go to bed. We're going to go lay in bed. We're going to play with it. We're going to look at our phone. We're going to check text. We're going to look at the Facebook. I mean, we never actually go to bed when we say we're going to go to bed. We always, have other stuff that gets in the way. Our National Talk Like a Pirate. Oh, International Talk Like a Pirate Day. I don't have a pirate hat. I need to get a pirate hat. Yeah, you just always go to bed, and that's, you know what? For some people, that's fine. For me, though, the nature of yesterday's video was on motivation. So it really would have been a demotivational if I went to bed and then didn't do the video. But the good news is that I got up this morning. I went for a walk with my wife. My wife just got her injections into her knee. Hopefully that stops her needing anything like surgery. I mean, obviously they're going to send her for more physical therapy. So I knocked that video out last night. I just finished the Ashes crash course, so that will be ready for Tuesday. And so I updated Ashes 101 this morning. I looked at merch by Amazon. I looked at a couple other things. So I'm going to be honest, Frost. I stayed up later than I intended last night, but I'm normally a chronic insomniac, and I had nothing stressing me out last night. I left the office, closed it up, went into the other room, laid down. I was probably asleep in 5 minutes. That never happens. But the fact that I knew that all I had was like nitnoid bits and piece work this morning. I mean, I say that I've been busy all morning, but I did take a walk, and I did run a dungeon in Final Fantasy with my wife. So I actually had some leisure time this morning, which was good. So anyways, guys, I'm Jahlon. This is the Paradox Gaming Network, and this is my Ashes Q&A. I'm going to be doing something. I did it last month. You guys seem to like it. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to give a couple of people a couple of minutes to get here. Kick over some rocks. Tell your friends we're live. I have decided that I'm going to officially schedule a show on Saturdays. I'm going to officially schedule a show. Somebody brought it to my attention. They're like, but it doesn't say you're going to be live today. And I said, I didn't want to schedule a show on Saturdays and then miss shows. But you know what? I'm going to schedule a Saturday show. And then if I'm not going to do a Saturday show that week, I'll click it off so it doesn't show up. So that's going to be the first tasker that I give myself. Up in the chair then. You were just nice. You were just laying on your blanket. Yeah. So we're going to get the Saturday show scheduled. Jahlon, you are live. You got to stop by and hang out. Yeah, I know, right? Jahlon is live. Kick over rocks. I will say, it's been really amazing. And today is going to be a long day for me, guys. Today's going to be a long day. I'm streaming for 5 hours today. Well, I'm not streaming for 5 hours. I'm streaming for 4 hours. And then I'm going to be on the Golden Feather tonight. It'll be the second time I've been on their podcast. They are a great duo. They do great stuff. So, D&D day for you, man. I wish I had like, somebody just subscribed the Moose Print. 2 months with Prime, excellent. I wish I had a D&D group down here. I really do. I wish I had a D&D group. I wish there was a LARP group down here. I would storytell Vampire the Masquerade, 2nd edition. I wouldn't do the new one. I don't like the new one. I would definitely do Laws of the Night. I wouldn't do Requiem. Or Riffs. But then the thing is that I have no time as it is. I have no time as it is. Man, you guys are all thirsty for that birthday box. First thing some of you do is you pop in and you drop in your 2,000 points. Let's make an online community. No, man, I'm going to be honest. If I was going to online D&D, I would just go play DDO. I would just go play DDO. Oh, a stretch? I will definitely take a stretch this morning. Ceiling fans are problematic. Oh, can we get to the ceiling? No, not yet. We don't have that kind of reach yet. I'll take a stretch all the time. I haven't done free weights yet today. I don't know if I'm doing free weights today. I'm kind of sore. I did stations at the park yesterday. I love the town I live in. We have an amazing fitness park that none of the kids use. So the park, all the fitness stations are always clean. They're always clean. My in-person group switched online. I'm having a hard time enjoying it. I can't keep focus. I think I'm going to tell them that soon I need a break while COVID is going on. Yeah, I like the whole social nature of tabletop gaming because I like to get together, hang out, eat pizza, laugh, have a good time. That's why I miss LARP storytelling. I really had a good time LARP storytelling. But anyways, guys, we just saw each other yesterday, so there's not a lot of new stuff. If you're a weekend person, if I usually don't see you on Fridays, Intrepid has said that their next live stream is going to be on Wednesday, the 30th of September. So I'm looking forward to that. We're gonna work through the questions that people have listed. Feel free. Open Q&A is open, so you guys can feel free to drop your questions in anytime you want. I'll stop answering the questions. I'm going to go over the questions that people have put in for the live stream because I want to make sure that we're going to have a good quality set of questions. What's your opinion on daily content? Personally, I don't like the sound of it in Ashes. Daily content, there should absolutely be daily content in an MMORPG. If there's not daily content in an MMORPG, then why do I log in daily? And if I don't log in daily, why do I keep logging in? The trick to that is they're going to have daily content, but it's not going to be dailies. You're not going to fall behind. Well, that's a wrong way to say that. There's not a mechanical advantage to logging in every day because it's not like Arcade where if you, oh my God, have to go on a date or go to school or miss the reset or you have a job or you want to go on vacation or any of those things. In Arcade, you substantially fall behind by days if you're not logged in. Ashes doesn't have personal development dailies. They have tasks, but those tasks are more related to the development of the nodes versus the development of the characters. Now, with that said, I absolutely do not want to lie to you. If you're not logging in every day, you're not going to remain as competitive or as relevant as somebody who's logging in every day. That's just the nature of MMORPGs. However, you will be able to do multiple things at the same time. Whereas, like, the people at the front, they're going to have multiple time gates. Sure, I got to level 50 ahead of you, but the node isn't developed. The social organization isn't developed. I have to help my node get that building built. So while I'm doing all those infrastructure tasks, you're catching up to level 50. But no, there's not going to be like a daily requirement to log in. And a lot of people a lot of people have a lot of bad. First of all, there's some content creators, and after some stuff got brought to my attention, I usually try to encourage everyone. I try to be positive about everybody that's making content about Ashes of Creation. I do have to say, be very careful who you watch on Twitch. There are some content creators that are giving out not only like poor information, but wrong information. So some of the content creators that they're trying to cash in on the hype train, they haven't done any research, and they can't get into the weeds. So be careful, very careful who you're getting your information from, because like I said, that kind of really torques me off, because then it makes it look like every Twitch streamer doesn't know what they're talking about. There are some really, really good Twitch streamers out there, a lot of new young creators that are trying their best. I'm not going to name and shame. I'm not going to say this guy's an idiot and this guy's somebody you could go to. I am going to say it's pretty easy for you to figure out who the idiots are. Just go in and ask them questions about your thing, the thing you know, and just gauge them for yourself. Oh, there's a Prime sub. Gauge them for yourself. You go in with your thing that you know, ask them some questions. If they're not knocking the answers out of the park, you probably don't want to listen to their opinion on anything else. Oh, Noodle Guitar, 2 months at tier 1. When's my birthday? My birthday is the 29th of September. I'm going to be a Vec Fire Tank, so I'll be good. Vec Life for the win. Yes, Vec Life for the win. So... all my friends are in other areas, so in-person D&D is very difficult with my schedule. I've also spent my time since I moved to Colorado completely focused on work, which makes meeting people very, very difficult with a night shift schedule. So your situation requires an online D&D group. You absolutely require that. That works for you. Let me see. If you got, like I said, are you going to do a Guildmaster's Guide at some point? Yes, I am. That is on the list. Let me grab a sticky note, because my other notebook ran out of space. September birthday, best month. You know what September birthdays mean, right? You guys don't know this. It should be it's the 9th month of the year, so it should be easy to figure out. Guide video. Yesterday, I was watching a video about Ashes, and this guy said there were a main hand, an offhand, and a ranged slot. Is this true? Yes. There's a main hand, an offhand, and a ranged slot. You can also hot swap weapons. Keep in mind, any class can use any weapon. But there are some abilities that require a specific weapon. Obviously, you're not going to use pin down, which is a ranged ability, without a bow, because the ability is shoot the person in the foot with an arrow. You're not going to do a shield bash without a shield. But every class can use every weapon. You can main hand and offhand pretty much anything. You cannot main hand a shield. I hope people are trolling when they ask for that. And then there is a difference between sword and axe and sword. The weapon you have in your main hand, for what we understand right now, the weapon you have in your main hand is the weapon passive tree that you're using. That may not be 100% accurate, but I don't have a direct quote that says otherwise. Someday when you are a household name, we'll meet up in person and do our own community D&D at the Paradox Gaming Network Corp headquarters. Yes, exactly. Why isn't Jahlon streaming? Oh, guys, it'd be 5 minutes. I just rolled a 1d8. Can you imagine shooting heels with a bow? That will be funny. All right, you can keep asking questions. Oh, has Steven said anything about global cooldown or rotation? Yes, there'll be a global cooldown and you will have rotations. You will have combos. I don't know why everybody is thinking there's not going to be a global cooldown. Like, pretty much every game has a global cooldown. Otherwise, you're just rolling your face across the keyboard. All global cooldown is the time that you're locked into your current ability before you can do the next ability. Some people think that cooldown and global cooldown are the same thing. They're not. Global cooldown is that all your abilities are running the timer so that you can't just hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and fire off 5 abilities. You actually have to like play. And there will be combos, so you will need to combo certain things between each other. What are the death penalties? Experience loss? No, you don't lose experience. You gain negative experience. You can never de-level. Gear durability? Yes, you will lose some gear durability on death. You will drop a percentage of your gatherables and your processed goods, not your finished goods unless you're corrupted. Sorry, I'm new. I don't know why you're sorry that you're new. And I don't ever be sorry in my channel. I run an educational channel. I do not mind answering the same questions over and over and over again. It's if I did, I would do other stuff. I actually enjoy it. I like helping people. I think Ashes of Creation is an amazing game. So that's why I have a website that is longer than some master's thesis. Ashes 101, the Google Doc, is now longer. I mean, I could submit it as a master's thesis for length, and it would meet the minimum. I take it as usually main hand equals right hand. Not many left-handed heroes, apparently. Yeah, I mean, that's just for mechanics. I mean, I get that some people want to be. I get that some people want to be left-handed. I'm left-handed in life. Congratulations. Come on. The game does that. We don't need to make the programmers go through more ass pain to make you left-handed in game. Come on. Some streamers get frustrated with repeated questions. Some streamers don't have the community I do. The combat system will be more similar to what game? WoW, Arcade. It's not going to be similar to any particular game. 75% of your kit can be tab. The other 25% must be action. Tab players, you don't need to worry. If you want to be a pure tab player, you're going to be fine. Okay? You're going to be fine. Action combat players, you're not getting BDO. So I hope you're not expecting to get BDO, because you're not getting that. You're getting something that's not pure tab, but it's definitely not BDO. Let's see. The first question, do you have any plans of supporting playing Ashes of Creation on virtual machines such as Shadow PC or maybe other PC cloud gaming platforms? I like this question. I really do, because we need this question answered, because there are some people who travel a lot and they need to know if they can use Shadow PC or they can use if they can dial in to their home PC. Some people don't have a gaming laptop, but they can dial in, they can remote access their gaming laptop. And so that's a good question. I know a lot of people have asked if Ashes is going to be on GE Force, and the answer is we don't know. I believe the problem with it being on virtual machines is that it's going to open up an avenue for botting. So that's a good question. I don't have an answer for that one. Intrepid has to come up with that. Oh, hey, look at this sexy guy. If your node is at war with a node your guildmates live in, does that stop you from being able to party with your guildmates, raid, and defend your castle if the defensive siege happens during the same period as the node war is happening? Hey. That's a good question. Hey, this person reserved a question. That's good. Are all combat pets DPS orientated, or are there tank, DPS, healing, and support variants? Can I be a healer that has a combat pet that aids me in my healing or provides mana regeneration? That's a pretty good question. I'm going to imagine that there's not going to be healing pets unless you're a healer. I'm going to imagine there's not going to be tanking pets unless you're a tank. I'm going to imagine there's not going to be a support pet unless you're a support, because the pets gain strength from you. If I could be a tank with a healing pet, what do I need a healer for? If we can have healing pets out, could we conceivably run with a bard and everybody have a healing pet out and then not need a cleric? And can we burn through the content faster by having an extra DPS? That's a good question. So I'm interested in seeing that one. I need to make my mouse not white. Let's see. What does Intrepid think about a party duel system alongside regular 1v1s? Party leaders of the same group size could request each other to start a duel. This would be a great feature for in-house tournaments within guilds or to practice for arena gameplay. I'm going to be honest, that's a waste of time, effort, energy, and resources. You want to do arena gameplay, just do the arena. I mean, I'm not against this, but I can see some benefits to this, but I would rather just have them come, instead of doing a duel system, I would rather them down the line do a PvP tournament system that doesn't involve the arena. Would Cleric Summoner have pets that heal? Cleric Summoner won't have any summons because Cleric Summoner is a cleric. There will be a Cleric Summoner doesn't get summoner pets. A Summoner Cleric would potentially have pets that heal because a Summoner can fill any role in a party. Yeah, it would be more likely that a Cleric Summoner might have totem augments that changes how they drop their heals. I mean, we've already seen that the clerics have a totem ability, so there might be more totem augments. Why do they say one skill has to be at least 25% if there's only 10? It means 3 out of 10 skills of one type. Will there be more slots? There is my brand new chair. Will there be more slots in the future? Yes. There'll be you'll have less than 30 abilities at a time. What you're seeing is just the placeholder stuff. Watch this. You are the wrong person to be in my live stream. I have zero time for that sort of shit on my channel. So instead of 1v1 duels, you want 8v8s for balance purposes. Yeah, I could definitely see that, but I would rather, instead of that being duels, I would rather have them be I would rather have them make a tournament system, because you could use a tournament system in more applications than a duel system. So yeah. Let's see. I like the idea of Summoner Mage having a mana regen pet. I would really like that. Summoner Mage, yeah, that would make sense. Although I don't, Summoner Mage having a mana regen pet, no, probably not, because Summoner Mage would be getting the mage augments. Summoner Bard having a mana regen, Summoner Bard having a mana regen pet, that would make sense, because that would be a summoner subbing support. Maybe you don't duel a person, you can duel a party. No, I mean, I totally understand the idea. I just would like to see them, instead of make it a duel system, make it a tournament system. So like guilds can have in-house tournaments, tavern owners out in the wild could have, you know, could have a fighting pit. I think you could take this idea and go a little bit further with it. I think the ultimate, what they're looking for is they want to be able to practice without earning negative XP or corruption. And that's definitely something I think a lot of people will want. Because there's a difference. Like I get the intention. You can't really practice. I mean, you can practice for arena in the arena, and some people are like, well, I don't want to lose arena matches until I practice. Well, too bad. If you're only worried about the arena, but if they're worried about going to the next evolution of this, I'm cool with that. I like that idea. Going to a next evolution. Let's see. Considering there won't be headshots in the MMO, as now there's no need to aim for the head or any part of the body, have you guys thought about making action ranged attacks requiring less specific aiming, though perhaps bigger character hitboxes? There will be headshots in the MMO. The headshots just aren't automatic crits. They will have a higher increased crit chance. Have you guys thought about making action ranged attacks requiring less specific aiming? Well, if you're going to have less specific aiming, then your damage for your action abilities needs to come way down. The point of having the point of having the higher damage on the action abilities is that's the reward for the risk of missing. If you're going to give people a bigger hitbox, then you're going to, that's fine. I have no problem with giving them a bigger hitbox, but then your damage is going to come down. As the skill requirement for the action ability comes down, your damage becomes closer to what the tab target damages will be. It'll still be more than tab target, but you're not going to get like double the tab target player's damage if my hitbox is the size of a U-Haul truck. What do you think they should do about the corruption system? Because it sucks right now for PKs. They should do absolutely nothing for the corruption system because it's supposed to suck for PKs. Mission accomplished. You're not supposed to be PKing people in Ashes of Creation. There's 8 meaningful PvP activities. If you're worried about not being able to murder people, then you are people that are being affected by the corruption system, and the corruption system is working perfectly. Like how Classic WoW is having dueling tournaments set up by players. Yeah, I agree. I just would like to see them not be duels, because because if you start doing multi-people duels, I think that would get like shenanigans, because you'd have to be capped at 1 hit point and in a permanent down state until the duel is over. But then that takes an important thing out of the healer's kit and the ability to combat res. So if you could set up a tournament system, a mock scrimmage tournament system, then the cleric doesn't lose a part of their kit. Because if you don't babysit the corpse or pressure the cleric, and I can res my downed party member, then that's good play on my part. What's up, Cheesy Dorito? It must be a Jahlon stream. I've already had to ban somebody. If you like PvP but hate the corruption system, go fight in sieges, arenas, caravans, don't murder people, and you will avoid corruption. Ding, ding, ding. Give that person a gold star. Ganking people is something that should and will be punished in Ashes. Yes, but there's also going to be, the players will fight back during boss fights. Yes, exactly. The only worry I have about the corruption system is that I know I'll have to PK when doing a boss. You might. Raid versus boss. Yeah, you might. You might have to PK when doing a boss. There are a couple of ways around that, but we haven't tested it yet. We haven't seen anything yet. So also keep in mind, guys, you're going to be at war a lot. The guilds that rival you in any particular area, if your guild and another rival guild are operating in the same circle, I know these circles is represent the divine gates normally, but for right now, one of those circles represents where you live and another guild lives, and if you're rival guilds, you're probably going to be at war with each other. So you're not going to have to worry about PKing during boss fights because you're going to be in a legal combatant state. I mean, you're going to be at war. If you think you're not going to be at war in this game, get that out of your head right now. I like that PK is hard. It is not good at all for players to always be afraid of being killed and you cannot progress. Basically, you just have a good guild. Thing here. You still should be afraid all the time that you can be killed. The only thing is that if you don't fight back, the person's going to take the person who PKs you is going to take way more damage to their progression than you did, because they take a 300 to 400% death penalty. So if somebody kills you, that's cool. Move on. Hopefully they get killed by a bounty hunter before they have time to grind off their corruption. And remember, it doesn't matter how much corruption you have. When you die, if you have 1 point of corruption, you take that increased death penalty. If you have too much corruption, you might have to die multiple times. Will the drop be more important for the ones that killed the monster or for the ones that started the fight? Only one group gets loot. There isn't individualized loot. There's not split loot. There's not shared loot. Only one group gets loot. And then that group's loot distribution rules go into effect. What's up? We got familiar faces. We got lots of streamers popping by. I got a lot of friends who are content creators. Moving on. Reserved. Will weather effects at sea have an impact on ships, such as winds, rough seas, ice? Good question. Good question. It is said that leveling takes a lot of time. How much of that will be done by interesting quests and how much from just grinding monsters? You're not going to be doing mindless grinding, so most of it's going to be due through interesting quests. They don't want to have Ashes be a grind game. Now, of course, some people grind because there is an advantage to grinding. You can simultaneously earn XP and get drops. But you're going to be doing quests, you're going to be moving around, you're going to be doing lots of different stuff. But for world boss fights, there's a lot of groups who fight it, yes, and only one group gets loot. One group gets loot, that's it. If the group with the tag does 40% or more, they get the loot. If a group without the tag does 60% of the damage, they get the loot. That's it. Those are the rules. Have they announced the topic for the next dev update? Not all of the dev updates have topics. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. They haven't really done a topic for a long time. They keep their topics sort of restricted to the dev discussions. Sometimes we get a hint about stuff. Hey, stop eating my leg. Go to your bed. No, of course. You listen as well as my children. Let's see. Grinding can also be skill rotation. It can be. As in, I change from summoner to healer. I may want to grind a while to get my new rotation down. You can't change from summoner to healer. You are a summoner. That's it. You're always a summoner. You cannot change your primary archetype. You can change your secondary, but not your primary. So, this first column, your base class, your base archetype. I hate the fact that they have class in there. It should be archetype, but your base is always the same. You can't change that. This isn't Final Fantasy. This is an Arcage. Let's see. Will the Telner have features that resemble... Will the Telner have features that resemble the of... Come on. Hares, rabbits, bunnies, and aspects, at least long ears and muzzle. No. Mammals. Mammal features. Will swimming have limits like stamina prevent people from swimming all over the place? And add-on. Next Jahlon interview when? Yes. It's a good question. Will there be a search for legendary boss monsters after they spawn? If so, will it be possible to pull the boss to some hidden place that no one will find the boss? In other games that might have been possible, but Ashes of Creation, the monster AI isn't going to be dumb. You're not gonna pull the boss to some hidden place. Also, keep in mind, what hidden place? Like, if you think that you're gonna pull the boss somewhere that, like, the bosses aren't stupid. So you're like aggro, the boss is following you, and the boss is like, no, fuck you. I don't want to follow you anymore. You're clearly not doing any damage to me. You clearly don't want to fight. You're clearly just trying to pull me. I'm going to go back to doing what I was doing. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to leash and reset. It's just going to continue doing what it's doing. Also, keep in mind, if you're trying to do that, the boss AI might just be like, you know what, power charge, I kill your tank. And now I turn and I eat your healer. But for world bosses, do you think you'll be able to reset them to allow a group which hasn't done enough damage but completely wipe the opposition to do the boss themselves? In what game can you not just leave the boss alone and have it walk back? Yes, you can leash bosses. You can reset them. You can literally not aggro them. Now, it is possible that the boss is got a finite amount of hit points. I highly doubt that, though, based on the loot conditions. I also would imagine, okay? I would imagine, and I don't know if this is the case, but given the loot rules they've already described, if your entire raid wipes, you've lost the tag on the boss. So your contribution is now 0 because you no longer have tag. If you a complete wipe, You might have like 3 rangers still running around shooting arrows in the boss, trying to maintain tag on the boss. But if you completely 40-40 wipe the raid that had tag, they've probably lost tag. How will you battle information that gets documented on the internet? Randomized loot tables, randomized spawns. Good question, except bosses have a randomized loot table depending on the status of the world. So the Jahlon boss on server 1 won't have the same loot table as the Jahlon boss on server 2 or server 3 or server 4, because the Jahlon boss gets his power based on the nodes that are developed at the dungeon that spawned him. If the nodes are configured differently, my power is different, my loot table is different. Will the boss only have aggro on the tag group, or can another group get aggro at any time? Another group can get aggro at any time. So if you bring a party of 40 mages to try to burn and do that 60%, it's possible that you'll pull aggro off the boss and then, oh shit, we don't have a tank. Aggro management in Ashes is going to be old school. You're going to be like tanks. It's not going to be like Final Fantasy. I play a tank in Final Fantasy. I'm a gunbreaker. Imagine that. I play the overtuned tank class. It's not like it is in Final Fantasy. I run into a boss. I charge at it. I do my initial rotation, and I'm never losing aggro unless I die. Like, I will never lose aggro on a boss. The only time I lose aggro on a boss is the only time I ever lose aggro on a boss is if it's a two tank fight and I end up with a mechanic that requires me to move, duck, dodge, dip, dive to the other side of the arena, and then the other tank isn't smart enough to realize I either need to pass aggro because we have a pass aggro ability, or I need to take my tank stance off. But usually it's okay. I mean, right now, unless you're doing savage modes, it doesn't matter. Whichever tank has aggro. We all fight for it just because who's got the big EP? Explain how ZOI have effect on bosses. ZOIs don't have any effect on bosses. How do I know all this? Because I've been documenting Ashes of Creation for 4 years. The boss thing is in actually my Nodes 3 video. My Nodes 3 video, because Intrepid can't do their Nodes 3 video. But yeah, zones of influence don't have any effect on bosses. Nodes do. Can we spawn kill? Can you kill people at the respawn point? Or opinion on Cleric DPS build versus Cleric Mage? How would I know? I haven't seen any of the augments yet. I cannot answer that question. Come back to me in Alpha 2 and you will have seen me develop that stuff. I have the Google installed in his brain. Yes, I have Google installed in my brain. I'm Neo, and I have a guy that is just downloading information to me. Any idea? Yeah, none, zero. I couldn't possibly answer that question because I have no idea what the augments are. Zero. Nobody has seen anything about the augments except like 2 augments. Node ZOI. I just explained it. The higher level the nodes around, like if a dungeon spawns, because nodes 1 through 5. Let's say this dungeon is assigned to nodes 1 through 5, and that dungeon spawns. If all the nodes are low level, the bosses are weak. As all the nodes grow, the bosses get stronger. The boss will draw its abilities based on the nodes immediately around it and the status of the world. So this early raid, this boss doesn't have any like tank busters. The boss has no tank busters. The reason why the boss has no tank busters is because in order for the boss to unlock its tank buster ability, the military node has to be above level 1. However, on a different server, people are complaining that they can't survive the tank buster. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about, a tank buster? I'm doing dungeon 1. I don't ever have I don't ever have a tank buster. They're like, but this, my boss does. I was like, okay. It's because on my node, the military node isn't leveled up. On your server, the military node is the highest ranking node for that dungeon, so it's giving the boss a tank buster ability. Meanwhile, I'm complaining that the boss does a frost nova that freezes us for 7 seconds, and the guy on the other server is like, what are you talking about? Each boss is going to get different abilities based on the nodes that feed it. Yes, at the respawn point, after you kill them, to farm players and loot their stuff. My friend, if you think that spawning people at the respawn point is a good way to play this game, you are going to have a long and painful life of basically killing your character and just saddling yourself with corruption. Every time you murder somebody, you take a 300 to 400% death penalty. If you kill the same person multiple times, they probably will let you. They're going to let you accumulate so much corruption that by the time you get done getting your corruption cleared off by being killed by bounty hunters, you're going to effectively be a level 49 or a 48 or a 47. You will have dropped every single thing you farmed and probably gear as well. A normal player can't drop gear, but somebody doing what you're doing with that much corruption, you're probably going to start dropping your gear as well. So you absolutely positively have the freedom to play that way. And the rest of the server absolutely positively has the ability to farm you and basically drive you into being a level lower. As long as you're in negative XP, your combat efficiency is reduced. Do you think they should have dungeon freehold buildings that level similar to other freehold buildings, are loosely player customizable, and lead to instance dungeons? Hell no, I don't think players should have their own dungeons. That is a horrible idea. It was a dumb idea in Dungeons and Dragons Online or Neverwinter or wherever they had it. It was cool, except the loot you got out of it was ridiculous. And then they patched it. I think that they should, in time, do something where players can design dungeons, but there should be no loot from them. You can develop encounters, but zero loot. I think that would be fine. Give people stuff to do. If you want to give people a reward out of your pocket, feel free. I backed a Kickstarter campaign. I remember something that you get tokens which you can use to play as a boss and fight against the players. Or was it another game? If so, what happened with it? It's this game. You can only take control of a monster during a monster coin event. You cannot force the event to spawn, and you only earn cosmetic rewards from it. You don't earn anything else. Are all mounts going to have an expiration, or just the ones that can fly? Only tier 3 mounts have a death penalty, have a death sentence. Is there any particular aspect that WoW does really good you wish was in AOC? No. What do you think about no add-ons? Good. I think add-ons provide some custom stuff that the team cannot possibly cover, like custom bars or UI, unless they offer a customizable UI. Will that be the case? Yeah, the fact that they have a UI artist on staff, he's been there since January. He's making it. They want the UI to be fully customizable. So, there's not going to be any add-ons. It works like this. Do you think that we can convince Steven to put in add-ons? No. I can convince Steven to do some stuff, and I wouldn't even take on the add-on argument. Doesn't matter what the add-on is. Why are they going to allow add-ons when they can just simply take your idea and implement it? You want a fully customizable UI? Okay, then let's give you a fully customizable UI. What's wrong with the UI? Steven doesn't want the community to have to fix the problems with the game. Steven just wants to fix the problems with the game. Okay, let's see. Will honey be in the game, either gathering in the wild or as part of the farming profession? Funny question, easy to answer. Yes, there will be honey in the game. Do freehold buildings keep their progression when you relocate after a successful siege or node atrophy? In haiku form, after freehold siege, will our buildings keep progress? Question this I do. That's pretty good. That one's going to get asked. We know the world is 480 square kilometers, but what about the deepest parts of the ocean or tallest mountains? What is the height of the world? Who fucking cares? Like, Who cares? Why? The way you need to ask that question is, we know the world is 480 square kilometers, but is a mountain with multiple levels add on to that? Does the ocean content add into that? We know the ocean content does, but like, who cares how tall the mountain is? Who cares? Because unless the mountain has multiple levels stacked on top of it, it's still 480 square kilometers. You didn't gain anything. Very rarely do, like, if you do a circular mountain that you have the same space on the z-axis, then yeah. Some people like to climb stuff while exploring. Yeah, that's cool, but that's not what this question is asking. This question is asking, what's the height of the world? Well, why preface that with the 480 square kilometers and the highest part of the world don't go together. They don't matter. Is that highest part of the world, is that above sea level or is that above the sea floor? If I figure out height, I can use trigonometry. Yeah, like the people who told me how fast you can travel from one side of the map to the other using the Pythagorean theorem, and I said that's great, but the Pythagorean theorem doesn't account unless you can travel like the crow flies. And you probably can't travel like the crow flies. So, look, you weren't sitting in the chair. You weren't. You were not. You were not. He's gonna tell me he was sitting in the chair. Oh, he's telling on me. Maybe it has to do with flying mounts being able to go over mountains? Maybe. Do you like the idea of only having 10 flying mounts in the whole server? Yes. I don't think people who aren't dedicated to a Metropolis or a castle need a flying mount. I'm going to need my flying mount to get back to my Metropolis or get back to my castle to take care of those things, to create content for other people. So, yeah, I like the idea there's only going to be 10 flying mounts. Plus, there's going to be about 20, not 10. There's going to be 10 permanent ones that you know how to get. And then there's, at any given time, there's going to be about 10 legendary eggs floating around. Well, I'm sure technology has come a long way and it won't be an issue, but I'd rather ask for a definitive answer. Is the combat dependent on latency ping, or does it work on other factors? All combat is based on latency and ping. As an Australian who will be playing with Americans on the NE server, how do I enjoy the game and what classes skill I choose can be influenced on how I would perform in combat with a high latency ping? Okay. Latency and ping is always going to exist. And I just want to take a moment to let people know. Starlink is not going to give you a 20 millisecond connection to the entire world unless somehow Elon has figured out how to defy the laws of physics, because it takes light longer to travel around the world. And then I swear some people, what was it? Hold on, let me, because you guys know I read a lot, and I saw a quote about gathering facts, and I quote to you. We only want the facts that justify our acts, the facts that fit in conveniently with our wishful thinking and justify our preconceived prejudices. People don't ever want to look for the facts. People want to look for the facts that back up what they believe. I don't care about Starlink. I have no dog in the fight with Starlink. I'm a streamer. I would never use a satellite connection. I have 4 people in my house that use a ton of bandwidth. People in my house use a ton of download. Like right now, I'm streaming and I'm using mostly upload for streaming. My daughter went to the park, but my daughters were watching TV downstairs, right? My daughters were watching TV downstairs. My wife is gaming. I don't need Starlink, right? I don't need Starlink in my life. I live in civilization. I have 440 down and 22 up. I don't need Starlink. But when people told me that they actually believed that you were going to have a global ping of 20 milliseconds to anywhere in the world, I looked into Starlink and I said, maybe he's got the technology to do it. Oh, well, he said I'm going to have this. No, he never actually did. He said something, but that's what you want to believe. So yes, latency is going to be an issue. Okay, you've got this thing going on. Are you going deaf too? Latency will of course be an issue. What do you want them? What do you want them to tell you? You want them to lie to you? No, latency won't be an issue. Of course, latency will be an issue. The whole purpose of Starlink is to have low latency. No, the whole purpose of Starlink is to deliver internet access to people who normally wouldn't have internet access. If anybody says the purpose of Starlink is to have low latency, they're missing the point. You can't have a global connection of satellites with 20 milliseconds there and back. It's impossible. It is literally impossible, because you have to bounce. I mean, think about if you have to bounce between 10 or 12 satellites. You got to send a signal, bounce between 10 or 12 satellites, go to their computer, then they have to send us. It's just impossible. It defies the laws of physics. Now, if somebody wants to take this on and do a presentation and prove that it's going to be possible, cool. Starlink is a great idea. Bring in internet to people that don't have internet, who can't have higher speed internet, people that have been reliant on satellite internet for years, like my in-laws, my father and my in-laws, they both live in rural areas. They have horrible internet. I 100%, I love the idea of Starlink, but gamers thinking that they're going to be connecting to a server halfway around the world and having like 20, 30 millisecond ping, that's not fucking happening. That's just craziness. Is it possible to respec your abilities? Yes. Can I take a more damaged focused build for leveling and change it to a more or less full healing setup at max level? Yes, if you're a cleric or a bard. Only clerics or bards and summoner sub cleric or summoner sub bard have direct heals. Everybody else with sub bard or sub cleric have self-sustain. They don't have heal spells. Why does bard get them and everybody else doesn't? Because bard is designed to, or summoner, why does summoner get it and everybody else doesn't? Because summoner is designed to fill the gaps in the party. You're trying to do something, you don't have a cleric, but you have a summoner. The summoner can go quick run sub-spec to necromancer and can heal. Why is summoner sub cleric necromancer, and why can they heal? Because clerics are the masters of life and death. Light has a speed limit, yes. Which then, ta-da, what happens if I'm traveling in a spaceship at the speed of light and I turn the headlights on? So, oh my God, multi-questions. Okay, multi-question concerning naval ships. Okay, let me go up here. Let me remind people, okay? Please, it's right here, right? This is my problem. This is my problem with society, right? In order to accommodate a variety of questions, please only post one question, and the more direct, succinct, the better. Okay? We get to this multi-question. This is what Toast is going to do. She's going to say multi-question, skip. Toast will answer it as the best she can in text. But let's see. How many skills will there be for a class? You will have less than 30. So we're imagining there will be about 40. There'll be about 40 is what we're imagining, because you'll have less than 30 on your bar at a time. Will ships have similar targeting flag when it pertains to PvP? Okay. Why the fuck wouldn't it? Okay. Why wouldn't it? Oh, ships aren't going to have we're not going to have flagging states for ships. We're going to have flagging states for all the other PvP, but not for ships. Will corruption be included in ship combat? Corruption is, there's literally a statement that says corruption is always present. Will all characters be subject to corruption if attacking, destroying other ships that don't return fire? Again, the corruption mechanic says whoever deals the death blow. Is threat assessment included in the identification of ships? Crew count, guns, sales, navigation. Gun sales, navigation, maybe, but crew count, no. Come on. Will naval combat be included in the siege aspect of nodes or seaside nodes, level 3 or above? This has already been answered. Not right now. No. Maybe in the future, but right now, no. Extra. Is there a forecast where we might be able to see naval activity in the game? Yes. Alpha 2. Thank you to everyone who watched me formulate this question on the Critical Zen Network via Twitch. Okay, well, it's a bad question. So, I'm a bit confused on PvP. How do you flag yourself for PvP? Control F, maybe. I don't know. It's usually something along those lines. Also, if you kill a non-combatant, you get corruption. How does one kill a non-combatant? Does that mean you can still get killed if you aren't flagged for PvP? Would I be flagged for PvP? I'm questing and someone steps onto my AoE spells. No, here's how this works. It is not here. I actually shut it. He peed on my backpack. So if anyone's wondering why I'm yelling at Sudsy over here, he peed on my backpack. He's not a good cat. Okay. So here's how corruption works. Unless you deliberately flag, you can't hit other people. So you have to flag for combat. This is not an opt-in PvP system. You are always flagged as a combatant. However, what I mean by that is I don't want to say that. You are always eligible to be killed. Let's say it this way. You are always eligible to be killed. However, if you don't flag to purple, then people get corruption if they kill you. If you're not flagged for combat, people can dance in your AoEs all they want. You can't hit them. You have to flag specifically to damage other players. So the corruption system is very, very well thought out. So I know that Fighter plus Summoner doesn't have direct summon, but do you have any idea how the Summoner works as a subclass? Nope. Unfortunately, Summoner will be the last class that we get notified of. What's to stop a large number of people from being in the same family to abuse the fast travel system? The fact that I'm pretty certain that I'm going to get Steven convinced that you can only be pulled once every 18 hours. And if you only get pulled every 18 hours, then what does it matter? If everybody gets one pull per 18 hour, everything's easy. Do we expect the majority of player base to play as purple or green? I have no idea. I imagine a large majority of the player base will fight back if they get attacked, but you are going to have people who don't like PvP. So, people who enjoy gathering will probably stay green just to stick you with the corruption if you kill them. I'm going to be honest. If I'm traveling down the road and I have nothing in my backpack and you outgear me, which probably won't ever happen. If you outgear me on my alt, more likely. If I have 5,000 gear score and you have 10,000 gear score and you attack me, get fucked, have some corruption. It's really just how it's going to work. I have zero problem sticking with corruption. Now I'm traveling down the road and I have 100 blood diamonds in my bag and you attack me, I'm going to flag up and defend myself because then I only drop half as many when I die. I know you're going to kill me, but I know I have something valuable in my bag. So I'll probably wait to flag up until I'm at like 15%, hoping that you realize I'm not going to flag up and hoping that you go away. But I will flag up just before I die, so I take the combatant death penalty. Will there be something like 8 summoners can summon a golem? Yes. For other classes, for combinations of different classes? Yes. I asked a lot, sorry, but can I ask about the sieges? Ask whatever you want. Don't apologize. I hate apologies. I hate apologies. Just ask. If bounty hunters go corrupt, do they lose their job and have to request for it? We do not know. That's a good question. We're waiting on an answer for that one. Is that if there is a very powerful node that will always be able to defend siege battles that picks on surrounding nodes, how can the surrounding nodes knock them down if they can't team up to take advantage of the numbers they have? Basically, the strong nodes can pick hundreds of more players than they will ever have to defend against, because node sieges aren't limited to 250 versus 250. That's castle sieges. Node sieges have no player limit. So that's why nodes can't act like that. If you get the mayor of the Metropolis being a douche canoe, expect everybody in the world to come and hurt them greatly. Do I expect we will have skill trains and magic bursts like Final Fantasy XI? No, and here's why. Skill chains and magic bursts from Final Fantasy XI are an amazing thing. However, it requires a level of coordination between players that is almost unheard of in 2020. I say that because I would love to see them design it, and I would love to see that system come back to life. But the problem is that PvPers that are really good and are really, really in sync would just flat roll people in PvP. Once you get a group that knows the timings, you would just straight crush people. Because other people, there are some guilds that don't even, there are some guilds that I've been in that there's almost no talking during PvP. Except one guy just saying name after name after name. And all he's doing is calling the primary, or he's adding the next. It depends on the specific raid caller, but some raid callers will call 3 names right at the beginning. That's primary, secondary, tertiary. And then people are so used to playing with them that the primary goes down. The next name they say, all he's done is add the new tertiary. Some raid leaders are only ever call 1 name at a time, and they're only calling the primary. Those are the guilds that would excel at skill chains and magic bursts because they're just that coordinated. I've been in other guilds that I've actually had to leave the guild because their fucking PvP is a clown fiesta, and I'm surprised that I'm surprised that most of their members can actually tie their shoes. Really, I don't need you screaming, crying, shouting. I don't need to hear your mouse hitting the wall because you died in PvP. You just suck. Get over it. About the items, do 0 durability items get destroyed once they hit 0, or are they just not usable until they're repaired? There's a couple of lines of thought. Right now, it looks like the item will hit 0, have to be repaired. There is a possibility that the item has a max repairability to it. We're waiting for further information. Is this overtime durability decay, or is it excessive use? It's use. It's not, items aren't timed. No, items don't have timers. Legendaries might have timers. Legendary items might have timers, but not normal items. Will Freehold show up in the minimap for citizens and vassals or all players? That's an interesting question and a way to ask it. Will Freehold show up on the minimap for citizens and vassals or for all players? Why would my Freehold show up on the minimap at all? I wonder if there's going to be an option to let my Freehold show up on the minimap. If I have a tavern, I might want to advertise it. But if I don't have a tavern, maybe I don't want anybody to come to my Freehold, especially if we're going to have sieges. So that's a good question. I like the way they asked that, because they asked it from the position of affirmation and clarification. So I think you'd like that if you had a tavern player or run shop. Yeah, I agree. How will upgrading items look like? Will there be something like +1, +2? Yes, there will be enchanting and then over enchanting. Enchanting is safe. Once you get to over enchanting, you have the ability to blow up your weapon. Are there any plans to making Head Start servers available to non-Kickstarter supporters in the future? Nope. Will any classes have the ability to shapeshift? Nope. Reserved. Several other games have group PvP have attempted to use culling to improve player performance. However, culling had negative effects on the PvP. Fighting people you cannot see right away. How will the culling work, and how will you ensure it won't negatively affect large group PvP interactions? Don't play on a potato. Yes, of course. There has to be culling. Yes, of course. Okay, this is like an unfair question. Culling is going to happen because you can only render so many people at a time. So unfortunately, you're going to render, say your computer is good enough to render 200 people. Your computer is going to render the first 200 people in view of you. they can't. Culling is when there's 500 people standing here, but your computer's limit is it can only render 200. So it renders the closest 200 people. However, this guy, this little piggy, runs to the back, but you keep him rendered. And there's a whole lot of people between the first 4 piggies and the guy that you can render. Now you kill this guy, right? And then all of a sudden this guy appears because you can only have 5 rendered at a time because I only have 2 hands. So you kill this guy, right? And then this guy back here appears. It's just how things appear. Culling is usually done by you render the people closest to you, but sometimes you have issues where in some games, if a person moves back, they should unrender, and then a person closer to you should render because you're limited by that how many you can have showing. With that said, I mean, you're asking them, how will culling work and how will you ensure it won't negatively affect large group PvP? It's going to affect large group PvP. I'm not going to be affected. I'm not going to be affected as much as other people because I plan on by the time Ashes comes out, I'm going to be rocking a 3090 for my content creation. So I'm going to have like power to spare. So you're going to be like, it's not fair. Jay has a budget and I'm playing on a potato. Well, that's unfortunately a side effect of life. Life is pay to win, folks. Life is pay to win. Will there be items to make over-enchanting safer? No, the purpose of over-enchanting is risk versus reward. Sorry you're late. Don't ever be sorry that you're late. If you show up, you're supporting me. I appreciate you. Just dropping by to wish you a nice stream and day. Hey, I appreciate that, Taxer. It makes me smile. Life is pay to win. I'm going to get that as a tattoo. Yeah, and you're going to pay for that tattoo. Are weapons balanced towards a proficiency system? For example, the longer I use a sword, the better my damage will be. Or will it be a normal RPG stat system with no long-term scaling? We're waiting on more information about that. But right now, you have to invest points into your weapon. So we're waiting to see if you have to use the weapon for X amount of time before you can put points in it, or if you can just put points in it. Good. You want out? Hold on. He wants out, or his wife wants in. Want out? One. One. Leave. The door is open. Go do kitty things. No? Don't pee on my floor. Okay. Since the battle won't be at one choke point, I assume you could call the guys fighting at the south side when you're at the north side. Yeah. The other thing is that keep in mind that you might be at a single castle, but that single castle might have 6 seamless servers. If the castles are as big as they say, it doesn't matter that there's 100 people versus 100 people over, where's my hands? 100 people versus 100 people on this wall. I'm fighting over here behind this wall, and there's only 50 of us fighting 50. So if you do it right, then culling's not going to be a big deal at the castles. Same thing with the nodes. Now, if 2,000 of you get together to have a scrum in the middle of a world boss, that might be a problem. Since the battle's out, how happy are you with the current state of combat in Apocalypse? I was happy with the combat in Apocalypse by the end. In fact, I did a video on my YouTube this week with the Real Talk staff, because we do a podcast with a twist now. We talked about combat, and I'm very happy with the combat. I'm not 100% sold yet. I think there's still things that they need to work on, but I'm very happy with I am very, very happy with the combat. If you guys are interested in the combat, I'll just go grab that video for you because that'd be like, you know, the nice hospitable thing to do. I love having an adjustable desk. I absolutely love it. I love it. It's the greatest thing ever. Yeah. If you guys are interested in the combat system, this is my combat system podcast, guys. It's called Real Talk. Which one I do? I have the Uplift desk. I have 2 Uplift desks from Uplift. I have a left-handed workstation, and then I have a dog bone upstairs. There will be in-game icons for all 64 classes. Yes, we were told that. That is confirmed. If nodes don't have a monster level range, okay, but they do you think character level progression will be good? Well, yes, because nodes have a monster level range. I don't see how each node can have monsters from 1 to 50, and yet have enough content for a leveling character. Possibly I'm misunderstanding how the node system affects monster level distributions. The higher level the node, the bigger the monster distribution. The closer to the node. Remember, nodes and ZUIs are different things. Nodes and ZUIs are different things. Nodes are the center of civilization. They are the town, the village, the metropolis, the city. They're just the black dot. The zone of influence is that yellow area or that purple area or that pink area. The monster range is in that very large zone of influence. Remember, okay? Remember our world, right? And I got to turn this off. Our world, right? We're going to do 400, we're going to do 503 square kilometers divided by 103 nodes. Each node has about 503, 480 plus 100, 580 divided by 103. Each node has about 5.6 square kilometers of real estate. Hold on. Oh, my wife told me she's leaving the house. Amazing. So each node at a minimum has 5.6 square kilometers of real estate. As nodes level up, remember they block each other out. So as they block each other out, as they block each other out, they can utilize that node's zone of influence because they'll expand their zone of influence in that direction until that node that they're blocking can level, and then they'll expand in a different direction. There's 103 potential nodes on the map, but they're only potentials, okay? They're only potentials. There's only going to be about 60 nodes developed at any given time because of how the blockouts work. So, yes, I'm not worried that each node will have enough content. Well, monsters around the node will change with the node level, as in types of monsters, will they get higher tier level? They're not going to change the type, because that would be weird. They'll grow in level and tier. Let's see. Hi, I'm from North Mexico. That's completely irrelevant to your question. And I'm really excited to play your extraordinary game. So is everybody leaving a question. And I'm a little worried about the ping for us. You guys are going to make something about this for us to have a better experience. A server in Dallas would be great. A server in Dallas would be great if Amazon Web Services had a server in Dallas. They don't. So, sucks to be you. I mean, I don't want to be callous and crass and not compassionate, but Amazon Web Services, Amazon data center locations. These are the questions where I wish people would do like 2 seconds of research. You're doing they're doing Amazon Web Services. So you have Northern California, Oregon, or AWS GovCloud US West. That's your choice. That's all you get. The only people that are really in good the only people that are in really good shape is Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo has servers. They might not have any central servers. They will have central servers located in Ohio. They have Ohio and Central Canada and Northern Virginia. And I mean, Ohio is going to be fine. I mean, if they put the central servers in Ohio, I'm not worried about it. I mean, you're still talking better than going to the West Coast or the East Coast. Ohio is fine. We're good. We're covered. Hello, Intrepid. Straight to the point. Not straight to the point, because you said hello, Intrepid. Can tab targeting abilities be augmented to become action combat abilities and vice versa? Yes. If you watched the last live stream, it said some abilities. Hi again. My question is, how long do you plan for the alpha test to last? As long as it needs to, as long as they're testing. Will coastal buildings be possible, like underwater farms or even above water housing? No, coastal, yes, but not like Arcage, not like, oh God, what were those called? Bungalows, not bungalows. They were called bungalows. They were. So yeah, you're not gonna have underwater farms at launch, to my knowledge. Apparently, we're gonna have underwater farms. Is that what you're saying? You just want tuna. He's so vocal today. He's so vocal because he knows that he's in trouble and he's trying to get out of trouble. He brought me Duffy. He carried me my daughter's Duffy. He peed on my backpack. And I'm sure my wife was like, you threw the backpack out. Yes, I fucking threw the backpack out. The cat piss is horrible. I'm never going to use the backpack that the cat pissed on. I guess I got to buy a new backpack. Will leaderboards be available? Yes. What kinds of stats we'll be able to see? I don't know. I can't give you a definitive list. Top crafters, top arena performers, top people in PvP, PvP seasons, so caravan, sieges, guild wars, going. Hey, I'm gonna grab your Saturday comment in just a second, because I want to talk about that. Top corrupted, no, the corrupted will never get anything. The corrupted will never get anything. So yeah, you pretty much have to. You can't be worse than dog shit. No, cat piss is horrible. Tell you a story about this kitten. This guy here. Come here. Oh, you don't want to be seen? Oh, you're gonna be seen. This guy here. I was a sergeant working at headquarters, and I got him when he was a kitten. We got this guy and his brother when they were little tiny kittens, and he was sleeping on my duty shirt, and I didn't take any notice of it. And I went to work, and people started commenting, like, they were like, man, what is that smell? And I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, man, it smells like cat piss. I was like, oh God. I went to my boss and I was like, I think my cat pissed on my blouse. And my boss was like, run home. I only lived 4 blocks from the headquarters building, so I just walked it. But yeah, he decided when he was a kitten to piss on my work shirt. That took me about 5 washings to get that smell out. Can I have a paradox point challenge to unlock a producer cam and show the cats? My goal is to run a USB extension cord onto the bookshelf behind me once I get a new camera, because I don't like the C22. I have a C22 Logitech cam. It's a great camera, but it's a pain in the ass in OBS. So I'm gonna eventually take that camera, put it behind me, and aim it like behind my setup, which will require me to like do cable management and keep my desk clean. But it'll look down at the floor so you guys can see the cats and what they're up to. It'll randomly pop up. Saturdays. What time would be good on Saturdays, guys? I want to schedule my Saturday show. I want to add a 4th show on. What time would be good? Because I want to get it onto the schedule for the next couple of months. Because then I feel like I'm more dedicated to my content if I have a thing on Saturday too. And then I'll only do like a 4-hour show on Saturdays. 2 p.m. just to be EU friendly. 2 p.m. Eastern. We could do 2 p.m. Eastern. That would give me time to eat and then do the show. Will there be Central American servers? Not at launch. Not at launch. Can you tell us more about how the underground will work? Will they be part of the nodes? Will they be just another place to quest? How will you get in there? That's easy. How you get in there is like this. The Underrealm is simply a place you walk into it. You're gonna no wait, hold on, because I gotta take the camera off. Let's restart this. So you can see in the background the exit. There's the exit to the Underrealm. So the Underrealm is just underneath. There's 2 layers. They're stacked on top of each other. So there are going to be nodes down there. Remember, the Underrealm isn't 100 square kilometers of continuous space. The Underrealm is pockets around the world. So yes, there are nodes down there. It is just more game map. It was unlocked in the Kickstarter goal. After 6 months after release, do you think a new player will be able to catch up? I fear after a year or two, we'll just have people calling for fresh start servers. Number one, people can call for fresh start servers all they want. It's not going to happen because the world is ever changing. It's like this. Is it fair that the people who've been playing for 2 years get told we're never going to have new players coming to your server because we're going to give people fresh start? No, it's not. Guess what? EVE Online, people have been playing for 15 years, and EVE Online sees new players start all the time. EVE, like if I went back to EVE Online, if we all, let's say all 129 of us went to EVE Online right now. Some of you've played EVE, some of you haven't. I have a 100+ million skill point character. It would be radically unfair for us all to start at the same place. But that's just how life is. These are ever evolving worlds. Guess what? There will be server merges that happen. If somebody is going to kick their feet and stomp and say it's not fair, I guess they can join when they do a server merge, but they're still not going to be, equal to the people that are moving there. They're not going to do fresh start servers. Hey, you converted from a Prime Gaming sub to a Tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Will there be Central American servers not at launch? Do we know if inventory space limitations and moving materials? Yes, you have a finite amount of space for moving gatherables and processed goods. I go into a lot of detail on that subject on Ashes 101. The caravan section will probably be reading material for you. But yes, you can't carry 500,000 ore in your backpack. If you want to move that much ore, you're gonna need a caravan. Let's see. Central American is not under the umbrella of North American servers. I mean, technically, Central America is split, yeah, between North America and South America, depending on which particular part. Do we know when the next Apoc testing will be? I never got to play it. I'd love to give it a shot. I'm trying to get Steven to open the Battle Royale again. I understand why he wouldn't want to until he has the Alpha 1 running. But yeah, after Alpha 1 is when they're looking at reopening Apoc. Was there a change to the Telner starting area? Yes. My understanding now is that the Telner can start in the Underrealm, so can any player. The Telner can start at any starting gate, so can any player. If that's the entrance, how did they survive 1,000 years with a gaping hole leading to their home? Because the 1,000 years that they were there was a barrier there, a divine barrier, and then it went away when the corruption receded. My guess is your goal isn't going to be to catch up, but you will eventually catch the vertical progression. You can get involved with what's going on right away. Hey, progression is the video that's going to be coming out on Tuesday. The video's done. I just got to dress it up. I have to do all the dressing ups, but yes, there's going to be a video on progression next week. So be looking for that. Server fresh starts killed Arcade. Yes, very true. That doesn't make sense lore-wise. I wish each race had their own starting areas. It makes perfect sense lore-wise. I don't know why you would think it doesn't make perfect sense. Here's why. You're coming out of a divine portal, right? You're coming out of a divine gateway. Why would I have to go through a specific gateway to go back to the same planet? I'm headed to the same destination, but nope. No. You're a Vec. You have to go through the orc portal. You can't go through the dwarf, the elf, or the human portal. You have to go through the orc portal. All the orc must go through the orc portal. That doesn't make any sense. That's how they were going to do it at launch, and they realized it doesn't make any sense because then guilds are going to be split off among a world that's massive. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't want to spend the first like 4 days of my I don't want to spend the first 4 days of my journey coming through. Why would a Telner who never came through a portal start on a portal? Because they walked there. Because the Telner have already come out to the surface to explore. Here's the thing. It's called the Magic Pen. It's called the Magic GM Pen. If you don't use the Magic GM Pen, then you have a mechanical disadvantage for races and a mechanical advantage for races. So players would just TP through the family at level 1, assuming they can form a family without being in the same proximity to each other. Let's see. What will the 1 month minor updates and the 3 month major updates look like? I have no idea. You'd have to ask Steven that one. Will the starting gates also serve another purpose? No, that's the starting area. Have you considered adding better TV emotes to your Twitch channel? Yes, and I decided against it. If Twitch wanted them added, they would add them. I'm not going to do something that's questionable. So, do you think small guilds or solo players looking for a small group will have a hard time to protect their caravan against organized guilds? Yes. Is a single person going to struggle against a professional group of caravan jackers? Yes. Is a casual guild going to have problems against a professional group of caravan jackers? Yes. Make sure you put good guards in your caravan. 5.3 square kilometers for each node, for each zone of influence at base. Also, we don't know if there may be water surface area as well. No, that includes water surface area. Would be cool if we could ship build. Is there anything of that kind? Yes, there are ships. 2 days after game launch, when the node system is activated and encampments start to pop up, how many encampments are there going to be before zones of influence shut ones down? I can see all-out tribal warfare going on between villages at some point soon after the activation of nodes. A level 1 node blocks a level 0 node from going from level 0 to level 1. Once a level 1 node, and you guys, this is I'm giving you like the 2-cent Reader's Digest version. I have an entire page on this. I have like 5 videos on the node system because it's that complicated. Once a level 1 node pops up, it blocks out level 0s. This level 2 in the middle is blocking out the 2 neighboring 1s. The 2 1s are blocking out the 0s because the 2 doesn't care about the 0s. The 0s aren't a threat to the 2. The 1s are a threat to the 2. So that's, as soon as a node levels, everything around it is blocked. You got to force the 1 to a 2 to open up more 1s. It sort of gives order and regiment to the world development. Will we know where the potential cities and roads will be in undeveloped nodes prior to the node leveling up? No, because there's 2 to 3 spaces inside each zone of influence that the node can appear. I would imagine that people will want to find a well-traversed spot for their taverns and inns. Okay, you can't place a tavern or an inn until the node is stage 3, so you'll know where that is. You'll know where that is because you'll, like, again, you'll see the nodes popping up around you before your node hits stage 3. Now, are you going to have to get on your horse and do some riding around to find out where the other nodes are, so determine where you want to put your tavern? Yes, absolutely. Have a team of people that map out the local area, because that would be smart. I still think it would be better for each race to have the chance to learn what it means to be that race, and then some after initial quest line give an option to move to the other starter area. I mean, that's fine. I disagree with you. Steven disagrees with you as well. I don't think you need to limit people's starting location to teach them what it means to learn about that race. I mean, in an ideal world, Steven and company would have a whole tutorial. They'd have a whole first chapter of the game for the Telner that takes place in the Underrealm, and they'd have a whole first chapter of the game that takes place in Sanctus. But we have to realize if we want this game before 2050, we got to accept it how it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, your YouTube 8 videos on nodes is good and lots of info. I'm my YouTube 8. No, I'm Paradox Gaming Network. You can have only one NPC guard for your freehold. You can't have any NPC guards for your freehold. You can hire guards if your node is under siege, but beyond that, there's no guards at your freehold. After release, what update paths do you hope for within the game? Would you hate for expansions to harm the core game? Yes, absolutely. Expansions should never harm the core game. In a game like Ashes of Creation, expansions shouldn't do anything to the core game. Expansions should release new continents, new rule mechanics. You don't have to release the next continent and use the node system. You could say, for example, this is your world. These are your 103 nodes. You could release a continent to the north that doesn't have any nodes. You could make the players build them. You could do the guild fortress thing in the area to the north. You can do that like Null's Second Eve. You can make it so that in the north, on the north continent that you can't see because I'm making it up, there are no nodes. That the guilds have to produce everything. The guilds have to go to the mainland and recruit NPCs to bring them up there. You could do that, and then it doesn't hurt the core game. It creates another place for people to go PvP. They go up to the lawless lands, they grow in strength, they come back mainland to take a castle. There's lots of things you could do. Is there official number on how many nodes are available under one Metropolis influence continents? No, because it would depend on how the world is developed in borderland nodes. If you take the world 103 nodes divided by 5, it's going to be 20, and one castle region is the first among equals, so it will probably have the extra 3 nodes in it. So you're going to have about 20 nodes in each Metropolis zone of influence. You could have more depending on how the borders roll out. So, will there be incentives to go to every place in the world, or do you think it would be possible to get most things in, say, 50% of the map? You might be able to travel to a stage 6 Metropolis or a stage 6 node and then have 3 stage 5 nodes nearby. You might only ever have to travel 12.5% of the world. It all depends on how your map works out. So, hi. I like when people say hi. Just, it's easy. That's an easy one. It's like, hi. Let's go back over here. Corrupted players lose a large amount of corruption on death with a chance to drop items depending on the corruption level. What would prevent someone from having their friends or guild members kill them to reduce their corruption and give them their gear back after death? Nothing. Nor should anything stop that. Hello, I hear the game will have a limited of repairs, so we will need to have some spare gear in bags to do the easy content and save the best gear for raids and sieges. I'm a person that I want to use the best gear always for all the content, so that will not be possible. And okay. That's not a question. That's feedback. Is farming processing or gathering? Wiki, processing, Ashes 101, gathering, Ashes HQ, not applicable. Yeah, here's why. If fishing is gathering, why would farming be processing? If they're gonna say farming is processing off the farming plots, okay. It just makes logical sense to me that farming is gathering. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's okay. I can be wrong. I can live with being wrong. Will there be a guild audit log that is exportable, or could this be available through your website or something? Guild logs tell who is left and joined and who is using the rights as a boon and seldom available outside the game. An export to Excel button or the ability to copy paste would be huge. Even better if there was a UI with a checkbox, right use, vault access, combat entries, player status change. Yeah, whatever. Good question, but it's not really a question. It's more a suggestion. Can you farm alone? Farm what? Farm on your farmland or farm mobs? What will challenging raids look like? Mobs? Yeah, you can farm on your own as long as you're farming stuff that's in your level range. Can we do all the processing and gathering, or do you only pick one or two? You pick most but not all, or many but not all. We don't know how many you can pick, but you can pick more than one or two, but you can't master all of them. Now, you can only pick off one side, so you either pick green, you pick silver, or you pick yellow. You can't pick, you can't master off more than one side. Good question. What professions will be most suited for gamers who have relatively less time for the game, in your opinion? I have no idea, because I don't know how complicated gathering is versus crafting versus processing. I don't know what the markets look like. There's a lot I don't know. Processing is usually the easiest, but Ashes doesn't have a global auction house, so that takes that out of the equation. I need to see how the game plays, how the game feels, before I can give you that answer. Hello, been a while. Might I just say the Ashes site looks great and makes me want to learn to code? Okay, I didn't make it look that way. I want to be completely honest. Zetrix made it look that way. I will say I've got my HTML and CSS and my Dreamweaver book now up here, but until I have like nothing left to do, I'm not going to work on the website. Zetrix will fix stuff I need fixed, but makes me want to learn to code. Good on you, man. Let me just take a moment to say I appreciate the fact you said that, because most people are sitting around not doing anything productive, not learning, not gaining a skill, not gaining a trade. You don't need to play an extra 5 games of League of Legends today. You can spend an hour reading, read something, exercise your mind. You can spend 20 minutes doing a set of crazy 8s and improve your health. So I like that. I've noticed you are even translating to other languages. Happy to help if you decide to translate to Polish. Also love the idea of your new channel. Hey, I appreciate that. For you guys that don't know, I have another channel going on. It's called Jahlon On. I'm also going to tell you guys about this. I found this. I'm old, right? So I'm old, and people always laugh at me. And I say, no, guys, I'm old. You gotta help me with technology, millennials. I need your help. I'm not being funny. I'm a Gen Xer with boomer traits. I was raised by my grandparents and my parents. My parents were older. I love not that. What the hell? That's not what I wanted. I mean, that's fine. I love this link thing. It puts everything on one page. So yeah, I love it. I've got a new program going on. I've been wanting to do it for years, and I finally just started doing it. It's Jahlon on life, Jahlon on content creation, Jahlon on success, Jahlon on motivation, on fitness. You know, you look about 20 years younger now. I know, man, right? Like other than the gray patch right there, I'm looking good. 65 pounds down. I can't wait till the first of the month. Will you be able to delete items in your inventory? Yes. If so, I can imagine you could delete items prior to dying in PvP to prevent your stuff from being taken by an attacker. Why would you want to delete your entire stack of stuff when you're only going to lose a percentage of it? You're only going to lose a percentage of it. Either fight back and lose less or give them corruption, but that's not going to work. Why would you, like, you have 100 corn in your bag. You're either going to drop, and these are my numbers, you're either going to drop 25 of them if you're a combatant or 50 if you're a non-combatant. Why would you want to throw them out and lose your 50? Yeah, it sucks the other guy's going to get something at your expense, but why do you want to hurt yourself too? Will it be viable for a main character with 4 hours average a day to have a full combat, full profession character all in one? Yes. 4 hours is more than enough time. Now, let me take a little side jaunt on time. The amount of time you play doesn't determine whether you're casual or you're hardcore. How you play determines if you're casual or hardcore. I know people that play 12 hours a day and they're casuals because they never get shit done. My wife my wife can be a little savage and she can be hardcore. But right now we're playing Final Fantasy. I'm working on Ashes 101. So we game together. I help her run through her dungeons because I'm a little mad, frustrated. We went into the new content. I was ready to just do raids on Tuesday and get my coins and finish my gear set. She doesn't even have her gear set to upgrade. So I was like, okay, well, she doesn't even have her weapon. I was like, really? You had like 4 months and you didn't max on Allegory? But now every week we're maxing her on Allegory. But then she goes and plays, well, I'm working on Ashes. I'm up here. I'm up with Mr. J. I'm in my new office. She goes and she's downstairs still. She games with her friends and they're a much more casual guild. So I only play 30 minutes a day right now, but you would consider me hardcore because I get all of my objectives done in 30 minutes a day. I log in, I do my dungeon. On Tuesdays, I game for like 2 hours. I do my raids. I send out my retainers. I send out my airships and my stuff, and I'm good to go. So time that you play doesn't make you casual or hardcore. 4 hours a day will be more than enough. So, let me write that down. You guys, I'm always writing stuff down. Let's see. By the way, do you think this game will be in Spanish? Yes, but not at launch. Millennials are old now too. True. It's a Mist. Dude, a Mist did an amazing bastardization of Stufferton, and I love it. I love it. You're hyped about the new channel? Yeah, I am too. Will the inventory slots be fixed from the beginning or will expand like WoW with bags? It'll expand with your backpack. There is a backpack you can get. We're waiting on more. We're waiting on more information on that. Yeah, if I miss your question, just repost and put repost : at the beginning. It gets busy sometimes. Would love to see a Jahlon on guild leadership video. Yeah, that's on the list. You know, Lineage 2 with the shop system where a player can place a store. Are there anything like that on Ashes? Yes, there are stores and stalls. You can have a shop in a economic node, or you can have a stall in any of the other nodes. So, all right. What will challenging raids look like? Are there going to be challenging because other raid groups or small parties could ambush you while doing it? Or will there be player counting mechanics that kick in when more than 40 people are killing the boss? Good question, but you're not going to get a decent answer. Can you also make a video about 8 group leadership? I mean, if I make a leadership video, it's going to be on leadership. The same leadership techniques that I teach are going to be for leading a group of 5, 8, 40, 400, 4,000. Leadership is leadership. If you're really a leader, as you grow in comfort as a leader, the number of people that you're leading doesn't bother you. Like I went from I went from leading a 30-person flight to my boss said, I really need you to go change and I need you to go lead this team of people. And I had to lead a team of 8. And then I went to leading a team of 60. And then I suddenly found myself leading a squadron of like almost 200. So leadership is leadership. Yeah, I can do that. That one I can do. Poll. What is your preferred role in MMORPGs? Tank, damage dealer, support, healer. Start poll. Let's see. How many people can you have in a raid? Up to 40. 5 groups of 8. So 8, 16, or 40 men is the content they plan on having, but you can have 24 or 32 in your raid. Arnold Schwarzenegger says you need 8 hours of sleep. Sleep faster. You only need 6. Yeah, technically you don't need 8 hours of sleep. You need 7.5 or 9. And if you're getting 9 hours of sleep, don't complain that you're not making progress in your life. Get 7.5 or 6, and you know, sleep when you need to. But is Caravan PvP system vision for parties or groups or 2 or 3? Can it even be raid size? There's no limit. There's no limit on the Caravan PvP because it's open world. Once you launch the Caravan, it is the open world. It is the open world mechanics. What do you think a ranger will be strong and weak against? I can't answer those questions, man. You're asking me like all the way in the weeds questions. Those aren't even theory crafting. That's just pure speculation. A ranger is going to be, I mean, I haven't seen the augment system. I don't know how much a ranger can change their physical to magic. I don't know enough about the dots or the bleeds. So yeah, I can't, when you start getting into like the detailed questions, that I mean, I can say rangers will be strong against everybody that's wearing cloth, but that might be a bad. See, I don't like to give answers to stuff that I can't back up, because if you say why, then I'm just like, I'm bullshitting. I don't like to do that. Ask me during Alpha 1 and we can get into that. I feel like Jahlon wanted to say sleep when you're dead, but he held back. Well, I mean, I will say that. I will say that. But then, guys, always keep in mind, sometimes you got to keep me honest. When I say sleep when you're dead, keep in mind, I've been through both regular basic training and I've been through OTS. So I have spent weeks at a time basically in a state of sleep deprivation, because you go to bed at 10, you're up at 4. Your brain gets used to not needing sleep. Also, keep in mind, I'm a chronic insomniac. There are times where I go days without any sleep. There are times where there are times that my wife will actually get worried about me. There were times earlier in our marriage that my wife would have to drive me to the clinic, and they literally would give me a couple of shots, and I had about 30 minutes to get home and get into my bed because I was going to fall on my face if I didn't. That's the level of insomnia I have. So sometimes when I'm beating people up about sleeping too much, keep in mind I function on very little sleep. My brain just doesn't need sleep. But I also zen, I meditate, so your brain needs rest, but it doesn't need sleep. People also can attest to the fact I was calling cadence in my sleep, and they know I was asleep because I had marched about 200 yards past our turn, and people are like, where the hell are you? And I woke up, I was like, where the hell are we? Shit, calling cadence in my sleep. Let's see. Will there be raids every 10 levels? No idea. Also, keep in mind that there won't be raids every 10 levels because there will be raids located in places. Not every raid is accessible from every location. There is no auto move to raid. So I don't know when the raids are going to be. Raids will open where and when raids open. Can you attack and fight kill within the node? Yes. The guards might take it offensive, but you can. Nowhere is safe is not true. You are safe inside of your locked house, and you are safe on your freehold. Will there be anything like Olympiad from Lineage 2 where a player can become a noble through difficult quests? Yes, it's called being a monarch and taking a castle. But no, not through quests. Sleeping helps maintain a stable mind. It's interesting that your mind functions differently. Yeah, it was always funny. The military laughed when I used to be able to stay up for like 96 hours and do the entire I used to be able to stay up for 96 hours and do the entire deployment of the exercise. And then I would be like, can I go home now and sleep for like a day? And they'd be like, yeah, go ahead. Like I never had to go in on Fridays. You know, need 2 hours of REM sleep for the mind, more for physical recovery. There are schedules like 30 minutes sleep every 6 hours. There is. You can also you can learn to fall asleep in 3 minutes. How many castles? 5. There is not one in each node. If you want to know about castles, I can't really talk castles at length. I mean, I can, but go to ashes101.com and read The World of Vera, and it's going to give you a little blurb. Quick blurb on the state of Fractured. I'm really happy with what Fractured is doing, actually. I like Prometheus. I like his style. He said that he's done with the whole Alpha Test 2 or Alpha 2 Test 4. He's just like, it's Alpha 2 fall. We're just gonna make it simpler. They put Alpha on sale. I mean, I like the fact that they realize their game is getting popular and people like it. So they lowered the price of their Alpha package. I love Fractured. It's an isometric downward looking MMO with no class system. It's got a build your own class system. I'm going to be playing Fractured on the streams when it goes back into testing. I have videos on Fractured on my YouTube. It's a really good game. I'm really impressed by it. Do I know if Crowfall will still have full loot drop PvP? I have no idea. I'm not a Crowfall expert. Steven already said that it would be difficult quest to be able to declare war on a node castle. In view of what you lose when your node is destroyed, do you know anything about what the attacker loses? The punishment in case he fails to win the siege. Why would the attacker have a punishment? What he loses is the price of declaring the siege. It's a very time costly and financial costly process to make a siege declaration flag. So that there wouldn't be a punishment for the failure. The failure is the punishment. Let's see. We have been given sneak peeks of a world, but not what's in the pipeline and its priorities. Could you share some of the recent milestones that have been achieved and the biggest hurdles so far? Well, if you don't know what the biggest hurdles and stuff, if you don't know what the biggest hurdles and stuff are, then they need to research in what they're talking about. Because they talk about the hurdles all the time. Hold on, I'm streaming long today. I'm streaming late and I'm trying to coordinate my dinner. Because dinner is good. Let's see. You need to get so many people in a foreign area for the attacker. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Plus retribution. Yes, exactly. If it doesn't matter if you win, lose, or draw, if you siege a node, there's gonna be some hate kicked up on the receiving end. If you burn down somebody's node, they may come along and burn yours down as well. Just because they can. Had the page minimized, heard turtles, and was like, that's a good question. Yep. So let me see. I'm gonna get up real quick for a second, guys. And I will be right back. So emote away. the fearless leader was coordinating dinner because I'm gonna be on a podcast after my show. So today's a long day. I'm gonna have to find a time to eat. That is one problem with intermittent fasting. You run out of windows of opportunity to eat. So I had lunch, and then so you said that there will be fire dragons for node sieges. Will there be flying players be hittable by range, DPS, or ballista? There will be dragons if a owner of a dragon is there at the siege. If the owner of a dragon is at the siege, there'll be dragons there. I don't know if they're going to be able to be hit by ballista. They are PvP, so they can be hit by people if they're in range. You're not going to make what? No, I'm not going to make you watch me eat. No, I'll turn my camera off, and I will chat as we go. I can wolf down food pretty quickly. Did I go over the poll results? No, where the hell did the poll results go? View poll results. And then I do this. Oh, I hate this thing. And if I do this, save poll. Browse desktop poll. So what is your preferred role in MMORPGs? We had 15 people said damage dealer, 22% said support. That's shocking, actually. And then tied for tank and healer. So that's a good distribution, because that lets us know we're going to have more than enough tanks and healers. I mean, obviously it's a small poll, so that's good. I hope that safe zones and freeholds won't be removed. Do we know if it only applies to the owner or includes party and guests? We do not know if it applies to anybody other than the owner. So I imagine it's going to include everybody, because you're not going to have the taverns. You're not going to have people be able to come into the taverns and drop a meteor and kill all the patrons. So that's probably a good thing. That probably works really well. I think that's a smart move. You know who hasn't shown up on my stream in a while is Steven. He hasn't shown up lately. I'm curious which information can be displayed on the in-game map. What would you like to see, and what would you prefer not to? Is there any information on this yet? No, we don't know exactly what can be shown on the in-game minimap or in the in-game map. I think any town that you've been at should show on the map. I think any freehold that you visited should show on the map. Or they need to make it so that you can leave good marks on your map. I don't think there should be too much on the map. I also like the fact that the map won't auto update. You have to return to the areas to update information. I like that. That's a good one. What's my fasting schedule? My fasting schedule is noon to 8 my time. And usually I schedule my my streams around my meals. But Vertec contacted me yesterday and said they had a last minute cancellation. So could I be on their show? And I said yes. And I said, but I'd already told you guys I was going to stream. And now I'm going to get I think I'm going to do 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. I think I'm going to do 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturdays, Eastern. I think I'm just going to block that in as a thing. I was hoping that I would get my partner decision, either make me a partner, either make me a Twitch partner or don't. But I'm gonna start doing some different stuff other than just constantly doing Q&A. I do want to hang out. There's some other games I want to look at, some other games I want to do. Like I got to do my Crusader Kings 3 review at some point because they did give me a game key. I'm horrible at Crusader Kings 3, and I love the game, but I'm horrible at it. I'm not gonna answer that. Wait, don't I have that? Isn't that already a poll? Oh no, it's not already a poll. I will do that one as well. No, it's not. I have polls down below. What I usually do is I've been copying the polls over to straw poll. Just so that we can get the polls more long term. I will do that one as well. That one's a good poll. Manage poll, new poll, and then I do it for the show, and then I'll put it on straw poll as well. Not going to. There we go. Unfortunately, it's gonna have a typo in it, but you got to because I'm out of characters. Okay, let me. What role do you play? Tank, support, healer, damage dealer, and what are you going to focus on? In the artisan system. Write that poll down too. Let's see. If you have a node on the coast, you can send caravans by land and sea, right? Anybody can send a caravan by land or sea. When the caravan hits the water, it spends a couple of minutes turning into a boat. Steven heard you say they better not delay Alpha 1, and he's knocking out that code like an orcish taskmaster. Yes, exactly. Will you marry your wife in Ashes of Creation? Yes. I will marry my wife. I marry my wife in every game we play that has a marriage system. How does storage work? Can you store items in a chest and share it with your other characters? Yes, that's exactly how the storage system works. No information broker. There may be an information broker. You may be able to trade maps. We're waiting on more information on that. Is there a marriage system in Ashes of Creation? Yes, there is a marriage system. So, we have been given a sneak peek of a world, but now it's in the pipeline. Yeah, we already talked about that one. They give updates all the time. Can we augment weapon skills? And if we can we augment them with main class augmentation? Good question. I'm going to say probably not, but that's just my hunch. Do you know Steven's stance on daily quests? I hate them. Steven hates them as well. There are dailies in Ashes of Creation, but they're called tasks, and they're not for your personal development. They're for the development of your node. So you don't have to do dailies to stay relevant, but your node needs you to do stuff. So if you're like, well, they're the same thing. I'm like, no, they're really not, because if you don't care about your node, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about your node. If you do care about your node, do the tasks. I mean, Arcade is a horrible game because if you fall behind in your dailies, you fall behind in your progression. They're not going to do dailies like that in Arcade or in Ashes of Creation. They learn that from Arcade. Is the marriage system different from the family system? Yes. I thought that was the only player-to-player connection. Nope. Marriage system is different from the family system. What do you think about the current guild cap? Do you think it's too much, not enough, or just right? I can't give you an answer to that because I don't know how many people they have settled on for the castle system. If the castle system ends up being locked at 250 versus 250, then yes, I think 300 in the guild is too much. I don't think a single guild should be able to hold a castle. I think it should require at a minimum an alliance or mercenaries. So if they get stuck on 250 versus 250 in the guild siege system or the castle siege system, then they should either lower the guild cap from 300 to 200, or, and here's an interesting one for you, they should have hierarchies in the guild where you can only have 200 people in the guild assigned to a role that can participate in castle sieges. So you still have your 300-person guild, but only 200 of your people can be assigned to the garrison, which would still require you to bring in 50 mercenaries, 50 outside guild members. Now, I know some people would say, well, people would just drop from the guild. Well, maybe, but you got to try. You got to try to make the system work. Will there be guild quests? Probably. Hello there. I'm a first-time poster and nobody cares. And I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I'm reading these questions and this is how, like, short. Hello there. Hi. Nobody cares. I'm a first-time poster and a new member to the community. Again, nobody cares. I've noticed that the character's clothes are affected by the environment, specifically appearing to be wet when exposed to water through either rain or interacting with the body of water. Is this cosmetic or will this change a character's resistances? It would be awesome if having a wetness buff would increase fire resistance, increase and decrease ice resistance. Probably not. That would really totally bone over mechanics, because then what do you do for wind and earth and lightning? If I'm standing on the ground, I can get electrocuted, but if I'm standing on rubber, can I not? That's more along a single player game sort of thing. Can a guild hold more than one castle? In theory, but they wouldn't be able to have enough people by themselves if they were sieging. Like, you have 250 people in your guild and you're being attacked. You have 2 castles being attacked. You're going to lose one of them. Why would people help defend your second castle when they know if you lose it, you know what I'm saying? Now, can Alliance hold more than, can an Alliance hold more than one castle? Yes. What are the possible respawns locations for when you die? The respawn locations? There's respawn points all over the world. Is there a guild cap for the amount of people in it? Yes, there's a guild cap of 300. If you take all guild size increases and no bonuses, it's 300. Where is the risk reward if the attacker misses nothing? The fact that they invested in the siege declaration scroll. It's like, people keep asking this question and you're missing the fact that I had to spend a lot of these to make the siege declaration scroll. If I fail the siege, I lost my siege declaration flag and I got nothing for it. So if the big challenge is to bring people together, do a quest line and throw some money at this, will be exploited. No, first of all, don't use the word exploited because it's not an exploit. Albion Online is a shit game. That's why it's not very popular. It has horrible rules and horrible mechanics. The reason why Albion has the population that it has is because it's free to play. If Albion was a buy-to-play game, like it was, and it had a horrible population, so they made it free to play, that's the only reason why it got an uptick in player base. The risk versus reward is I risk the time, effort, and energy to make the siege declaration scroll, all of the siege equipment that we brought with us, all of the consumables. We failed to take the node. We're out all of our money, and we didn't get our objective completed. If you succeed in the siege, do you keep the guild siege scroll? No, it's used for that siege. You make a siege scroll for that siege window. Could you make a guild wing? So yes, I guess. Yes, you could. Is it known if we can let others use the facilities on our freehold? Yes, there is a permission system. I heard Steven say on a stream along the lines, the amount of effort it would take to build up a Metropolis needs to be equal to the amount of time it would be to establish a siege. Yes. The quest to siege a Metropolis is going to be on par with the amount of effort it took to build the Metropolis. It's going to be a long, gruesome, grueling to get that siege flag. Somebody spent a lot of time, effort, energy. They dropped their siege flag. They didn't win their siege. All their efforts were for naught. It can be easily designed so the siege declaration can be costly. I don't see any problem to make it hard for an attacker. Yeah, exactly. If you make it too hard for the attackers, then nobody's ever going to attack, and we're going to have a PvE Care Bear game, and I don't want that. I think nodes should randomly come under siege. I think that there should be a much deeper, much richer civil insurrection mechanic. I think nodes should be able to mutiny and rebel, but that would take them years to code properly. Will there be a hard cap on the number of players that AoEs can hit in PvP? Higher AoE caps allow for smaller groups of people to fight groups that are much larger than themselves. No, they don't. No, they don't. This argument is horrible. In a game that has collision, the AoE cap is the size of the ground reticle. If it's a ground placement, there can only be so many people standing in a spot. The whole argument that small groups of people can fight large groups of people is based on the theory that you have an AoE group fighting. You have an AoE group fighting all single target people. The other group will have AoE abilities as well. And then the people say, well, we're less people, so we can spread out. Great. Spread out. And then get isolated from your cleric and not get healed and get planted. I hate this argument. I hate this argument. This argument is based on you need non-ground reticle placement AoEs for this to work. But the big damage AoEs are ground placement AoEs because that's the risk versus reward. Let's see, what artisan class you're going to focus on. Gathering takes 41%, crafting is 35%, processing is 22%, and one person says they're not going to be an artisan. I will get that loaded up to straw poll as well. I touched my cat. Guys, I'm going to be right back. I touched the cat and then I touched my face without washing my hands. I've got dander all over my hands. Be right back. No, I'm not a germaphobe. Fun fact, everybody in my house is allergic to cats, yet we own 4 cats. So I'm okay as long as I don't touch my face after touching the cats. I normally have a towel in here so I can pick the cats up and then I can wipe my hands off. But we're going into the weather has changed really drastically here. And so the cats are getting their winter coats, the thick underfur, and they're shedding everywhere. And we've been brushing them, but that doesn't do enough. So gank the gatherers, craft a sword from their own stuff to kill them with. Sure. I mean, you can. Gathering seems more risk as you will be having to move the materials to remote locations to maximize profits. Yes, gathering is more risk. However, somebody said the other day, they're like, well, crafters are still going to make all the money. Crafters are only going to make all the money if you're dumb enough to sell your raw materials at a low price. If your node doesn't have iron in it and I bring in a caravan of iron, I dictate the price. I set the price. And if you're like, well, I'm not going to spend 3 gold per iron ore, okay, then don't. Somebody will. If your node has no iron, somebody will. If you don't buy it, your competitor will. And then your competitor will make the iron swords and you won't. People always get caught up on gatherers should make the least amount of money because they spend the least amount of effort. And in most games, that's true. But in Ashes, since the supply chain is work, gatherers are going to be charging for that. This game is a hybrid of action and tab. Sieges on Metropolis could happen every month because multiple groups can grind for the siege flag but have to wait for a month. Every 50 days. You can only siege a Metropolis every 50 days. Once a Metropolis has been sieged and not fallen, it gets 50 days of immunity. Let's see. Is there an order that you have to attack a zone of influence, or could you run past the lower tier nodes and attack the Metropolis right away? I mean, you can drop a siege flag directly on the Metropolis. However, you have to bring in all your materials, and you're probably going to get a lot of your caravans jacked. It probably makes more sense to start at the outer rim and work your way through. It also depends. I mean, there's a lot of things that are going to go into the siege. Keep in mind, though, everybody in a Metropolis's region probably has reason to stop you because they don't want to lose their Metropolis. And the king of the region, or the monarch of the region, has reason to stop you, especially if there's a chance that that monarch will lose their Metropolis, because the way the board looks, the Metropolis would go into another region. It is possible for two Metropolis to exist in one castle region, leaving one castle region without a Metropolis, and that's going to really cut into their taxes. If you sell materials for a high profit, my crafted items will cost 20 times more, so you need to think. Not really. Not really. I don't buy my stuff from you. I'm a gatherer. I don't buy my stuff from you. I buy my stuff from the guild crafter. I know that up here, I know that this node by the sea, I know there is no iron for 15 square kilometers, and I roll in a caravan full of iron. I'm gonna sell it for whatever I want. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. You know, I'm selling iron for $5 gold a iron ore, and everybody's like, I'm not paying that. That's outrageous. Well, unfortunately, my guild controls most of the caravan routes. You're not getting any caravans into your node if I don't approve them. If my guild says you're not getting a caravan in there, you're not getting a caravan in there. We worked hard to get 10,000 iron ore in there for 5 gold each. That's 50,000 gold. We'll just keep stealing everything else you try to bring in. That's how it's going to work. Remember, control of the supply chain in a game like this is paramount. The reason why crafters have it easier is crafters can travel to where the material already is, buy the material. As long as there's a crafting station, then they don't risk a lot because they can buy the stuff in a node, make the finished good in the node, and then walk the finished good home, and they can't drop the finished good. So it sounds like Eve, and I hope it will be similar to it. Yes, it will be. It will be very similar to Eve. Is the idea that the finished crafted items are not moneymakers, but more support for guilds? No, I mean, you're gonna make money on your crafted items, but there's no global auction house. So people have to be willing to travel to you to buy the stuff. I mean, it's going to take a lot longer to get your gear if you're not in a group of people that works together. If you're not in a guild that's self-sufficient, then you're going to spend a lot of your time traveling, looking for stuff. Remember, early on in this game, scarcity of goods is going to be a huge thing. It's going to be very difficult to make stuff. So you better make friends. You better have friends or a guild or a network or some other way to make a ton of money so you can bring the material to you, bring the goods to you, because you're going to be working for it. Reserve the names Gucci and Louis Vuitton and charge triple for the name. Yeah, right. How many rarity tiers will there be on gear? I think 5, and there's possible that it's going to go to 6, only so they can separate out some names. Are there plans for an in-game world chat? Nope. Or will players have to defer to third party like Discord for their server? Yep. There's not going to be an in-game world chat. Let's see. How will balancing the combat of 250 versus 250 work? Won't AoE's abilities be so much more powerful than a single tank? Well, yes, obviously. You don't balance for 250 versus 250. You balance for 8v8, and then all of your raids stack up from 8. All of your parties stack up for 8v8. Will there be different types of giant siege mounts depending on the node location? Ice Phoenix for icy mountain nodes, Mythical Whale for coastal nodes. Could there be an island dungeon in the sea that is moving in the sea? That would be fun to try to get. Why would there be a moving island? Please add bug type armors. See, this is the sort of thing. Ask one of your two questions and hope to get an answer. But since you asked two, you're not going to get it. One of the things I loved about EVE Online was the depths of the political intrigue. Will ashes encourage or discourage things like spies? You could have looked that up. Yes, spying is allowed. Are there plans to add ways that the players of different nodes can wage war against each other based on the type of node they belong to? Military node being able to send raiding parties to an adjacent node. Yes, there's a node war system. See, these are the questions that piss me off. You took the time to write a question, but you didn't take the 2 seconds to look anything up about the game. Am I the only one that's happy there's hard counters? I am stoked that there are hard counters, and we came to realize the other day on the Discord, people don't understand what hard counters are. And we found that out here too. People don't understand what hard counters are. Hard counters are you're a block of ice trying to survive in hell. Your odds aren't so good. You already stated your fast travel philosophy that it should be limited in the game. So why in the blank should you ever contemplate to have 2 systems for testing regarding fast travel? 1 being family summons, 2 being node transit systems. I don't see this as limiting. I see this as a gateway and going against your philosophy. It's not going against your philosophy when you specifically state we're doing it to accommodate a certain group of players known as casuals who only have a couple of hours a night to play. You put enough limitations on the fast travel system and it doesn't accommodate the people. I think an 18-hour cooldown on the family travel system is going to fix the problem. We'll be fine. We'll be okay. Let's see. In PvE content, is the game going to be challenging? No. I mean, come on. What answer do you want them to give to this question? Is PvE content in the game going to be challenging? No, we're just wasting all of our time building bullshit PvE. Or is it going to be a face roll when there's no player content? Come on. See, literally, they shouldn't even answer his question, period. If the siege scroll for attacking a Metropolis is as costly as making a Metropolis, will sieging a town with a scroll be as costly as developing a town? Yes. The cost to siege is on par with the cost of development. Hi, I'm excited for Ashes, and I want to ask, how will the expansions and content patches work? The game seems like a long term. I know it's far ahead, but it's pretty interesting how the expansions work, especially. An open world dungeon, how will loot lock work? If 2 groups are contesting a boss, does only one group go on loot lockout or both because they were fighting for loot? Good question. Wow, I can barely do this with my glasses on. You want me to do this with my glasses off? No fucking problem. We will do this. Are there OCE servers? Yes. Will the scribing profession be integrated in some of the core systems, or will it be outdone by third-party maps, blogs, websites within a few weeks? What I was thinking about was needing scribes for declaration of war. No. Or even crafting contracts to give you a very small tax benefit. No. Which can then be sold. No. Or ascribing nothing more than a dream that came from a small reference in 2017. Yes. What it's going to be in the scribing profession is unknown, but you don't give a profession the ability to control who can declare war. Oceanic. Is it known if we can let others use facilities on our freeholds? Yes, you can set permissions. Speaking of Speaking of EVE Online, has Steven mentioned whether or not he's fine with players scamming other players? Yes, it's fine in EVE, but I've seen GMs in other games punish players who try to scam others in game. You can scam all you want, as long as you're not hacking, cheating, botting, exploiting. Here's the thing, though. You're not going to be able to scam people in Ashes. If you can scam somebody in Ashes, good on you. But since there's an escrow system, you're going to be really... You're only going to scam dumb people. So, my question is regarding the Freehold system. Let's say my Freehold is attacked and looted after a successful node siege, and there would be no node development nearby that I can attach to during a 1 week grace period. Well, it doesn't matter because your Freehold was attacked and looted, so your Freehold's destroyed. You're not in the grace period. If at the time of its destruction, my Freehold has leveled up structures, will those structures remain their leveled once I place the Freehold in a different plot? Yes. You don't lose your progression. Good thing there aren't many dumb people in games. Yeah, right? How big of a role does RNG play when it comes to obtaining weapons, armor, and rare items? RNG plays a huge role when obtaining weapons, armor, and rare items from boss drops. It's no RNG in crafting. Write better questions. On the forums under weapons, you specify that dual wielding can be done with one-handed weapons, but not shields. But then go on to say great swords probably can't be dual wielded. Is that a hint that under specific circumstances or with the help of augmentation, you can dual wield great swords? If this is possible, you will have truly fulfilled one of my greatest MMORPG desires. You're not going to dual wield great swords. The reason why it says probably can't be is because, like, people need to stop reading into the words so much. Probably can't be means probably can't be. With NVIDIA's Ampere and presumably AMD's RDNA2 cards passing even the strongest Turing cards by 50%, blah, blah, blah. How will this affect the suggested VGA for testing the game later this year or next year? Will these cards be overly wasteful because the game is going to be balanced around 2070s? No, they're going to be balanced around 990s. Like, you're fucking stupid, okay? You're fucking stupid the way you wrote this question. Okay, I know that AOC's graphical engine will be highly adjustable for the given graphics card's capabilities, but with these new cards, even a pre-September mid-range card fell down in the low range in a blink. Yes, they started building the game 3 years ago, so they're not all of a sudden going to slide the marker. It has to be this way, right? No, this way? That's so weird. It has to be this way. They're not going to suddenly make the graphics requirements need you have a 1080, okay? They can't suddenly just go back in time and change the graphic fidelity of what they've already built. I don't know why people think that the moment a new graphics card comes out, a game that's been in development for 3 years is going to change its graphics. Will my party members be able to deposit items in my mule's bag directly? Good question. Will gear weapons be level locked? Some of it. How do you envision large-scale PvP fights unfolding? Let's see. Will it be somewhere along the lines of Guild Wars 2, where groups will be stacking on top of each other to spread buffs? Well, they can't because there's physical proximity. Or will it be more akin to something like BDO, which is a bit more spread out? How much of an impact can we expect a single player to have in mass PvP? Will one player be able to do something like turn the tides of a fight? If one player can turn the tides of a fight, you have a really shitty combat system. Will you be able to gather most basic materials like lumber, stone, or ore without mastering any of those? Yes. I've heard the leadership of guilds of a node. I've heard that leadership guilds of a node can have a guild hall within the city. No, the patron guilds can have a guild hall within the city. While the larger guilds will fight over the castles, but will smaller guilds be able to own halls outside of the node? For example, on a freehold. Holy fuck. Yes. 2 seconds of research. Go to the wiki. Look up guild hall. How detailed will a map be as it relates to node locations? Will I be able to permanently monitor node progression on my map? No. Fog of War. They've already answered that. So. Keep the questions coming, or I'm going to keep going over this list. Will Ashes of Creation have a screenshot mode similar to G-Post from Final Fantasy XIV? Something that allows in-depth and unique posing for screenshots. Good question. I have a question regarding the world. Do the developer team decided yet if the world will be a plane or a sphere? No, it's going to be tested in alpha. Question about whether there will be a South American server on both the forum and the Discord are redirected to a page that was last updated on January 25th, 2019 that does not contain a listed South American server. Have you changed your mind and will we have a South American server? If not, what can people in that region do to help Intrepid Studios bless us? They're not going to release a server in South America because it'll be regionalized pricing until they know if the game is financially viable. If you want a regionalized priced game, you're asking for a coupon. They have to make money first. Is this game going to be translated to Spanish? Yes, but not at launch. Spanish translation will come if there's a need for it. Will Steven release a heat map of the game? What do you mean a heat map? Define, because there's lots of things you can do with a heat map. Define what you mean. Look at the gameplay, video, graphics, lighting look great. I'd rather the game nice and smooth in 200 versus 200 than have too much textures and run like shit. Yes, exactly. Is there a rough release date? Even a year would help. Check back 6 months. Come back in 6 months. Actually, come back in a few months. I'll be playing Alpha 1. And then you can check out Alpha 1. And then, yeah, we got a while. Is there air combat? Reason I ask is legendary flying mounts are killable. The only reason why the mounts would be killed is if the rider has a reason to be close to the battle. If that's the case, I wonder what kind of frightening abilities legendary mounts will have. Legendary mounts are PvP mounts, and they will impact PvP. What's the escrow system going to look like? You load your materials in your tip into your side of the menu. You click what item you want from me. I make the item. You never have to hand me the materials. Just, I can craft from, there's going to be a crafting interface menu at stalls and shops, so you never have to turn over your materials to the crafter. Stop scamming. Heat map for player distribution of the map on a specific server. Oh, yeah, I imagine that will be I imagine that might be a map option. It works really well in EVE. I would hope that they have somebody looking at EVE Online for the map, functions. After hearing about the weapon skill trees and how it mostly provides proc effects, I have to ask, how many passive and proc effects can we expect to see layered on top of each other at max level? They can't answer that. It depends on your build. Will we be able to create music files and then play them in the game with our instrument? Maybe, but not likely. Maybe if you make them in game. We're waiting to get information on that. They might answer that. That's a good question. When is the beta gonna be? The beta will probably be in 2021. Do you think there will be a market of buying and selling guilds? Yes, probably. I have Alpha 2 access, can't wait, but it would be great to watch streams of Alpha 1, many answers and things to test. Yes. Yes, exactly. Will we be able to circumnavigate the world in a single direction? We don't know yet. We're waiting on that. I'm glad people keep asking that question, but we're going to test it in Alpha 1. Let's see. What are some examples of the action side of the current hybrid you have envisioned mechanically and visually? Will bow users be able to fire the basic attack in any 3D vector direction if they're in action camera? If so, what percentage of skills will be able to be cast this way? Well, if you're in action camera, you can't fire in any 3D vector because that would allow you to shoot behind you. I see what they're saying. If you're moving north, can you turn and fire south? No. The body doesn't turn that way. You can't shoot directly behind you. Will Alpha 1 cover all classes with all of its skills? No, Alpha 1 isn't doing anything with classes. Alpha 1 is doing archetypes. Only archetypes, and only 5 of them at first. Caravan PvP. If you walk past a caravan in trouble with thieves and you want to help the merchants, are you forced to join their party to make sure you don't get hit by their AoE spells? Will it be visible to other players what your intentions are? Yes, you have to flag as attacker, defender, or ignore. You said you will have 16 equipment slots and recently talked about immersion. Boom, I appreciate that. That's a subscription at tier 1. That's you reaching into your pocket. It's like time to panic and run. Time to panic and run. You said you will have 16 equipment slots and recently talked about immersion. Will you have you discuss the implementation of cosmetically immersive equipment like scabbards as part of a belt or weapon and quivers? Yeah. Will Alpha 2 cover all the classes? Yes. Nice new room. Yes, I love the office, man. I love the office. I really do. What you guys can't see is I hung a curtain behind the desk to absorb the sound. So, and also what I really like this. This is like one of my favorite features. I can, if I get angry, we can do that. If I'm gathering, I can do that. I can, we can change the colors behind me. I can actually make the colors like change and dance. But then I usually break it. So, can you dead zone a ranged weapon user? I see on the wiki there is a minimum range for bows. Yes. However, rangers have a lot of jukes, a lot of disengages, and a lot of snares and traps. So they can a ranger can bind you, disengage, and regain their range. Were you able to heal a damaged caravan? We think so, but we're waiting on the finalization of the caravan design. One of the caravan designs is kind of weird. And I think after Steven described it, he recognized, yeah, that ain't going to work. So we're waiting on more information for the caravan designs. Oh, by the way, guys, none of you should be getting mid-roll ads. Twitch said that they finished their test session on mid-range or mid-roll ads. So hopefully you're not getting any. I don't run ads. The only time I run ads is if somebody spends the points to have me run an ad, and then the chat can hate that person, not me. And I think I have that limited to 1 per show. By the way, where are you guys even at with this? Where are you guys even at with this birthday box? Ooh, the birthday box isn't growing as fast as I thought. You guys got 10 days left. You guys got 10 days left. Yeah, 10 days left, 14%. Yeah, I think you'll be okay. I think you'll get it. I'm saving up all my points for ad roll during alpha. Just kidding. Hey, well, I think it's set for there's only one person can run an ad per show. Will rangers have melee line of abilities? Yes, they can. Yes, they can. So, by the way, guys, I said it last time. I'll say it again. I have a charity going on. I'm going to be doing charity work from now through Extra Life in November. September and October, I'm doing this September and October, I'm doing charity work for Operation Supply Drop. And then in November, I'm doing Extra Life. I'm doing a 24-hour stream, and I'm doing a 24-hour stream during Extra Life. So, yeah, I'm going to I'm going to do a 24-hour one of these. My brain usually hurts after my brain usually hurts after 4 or 5 hours of this. I've done 10. I did 10, and I'm gonna do a 24-hour Q&A session for Extra Life. I'm working on the donation things. Right now I'm doing Operation Supply Drop because I'm retired military, but I've been talking to a lot of the military guys downrange, and especially with what's going on in the world. If you guys don't realize this, and military people will either say yes or say no, there's some really cush deployments that aren't really deployments. They really shouldn't be cush deployments anymore. They shouldn't be considered deployments. They should be considered TDYs. I don't think some of the deployments should count as actual deployments because there's no outside the wire, there's no body armor, there's no arming up, there's no any of that. But there are some really shit deployments. Usually what gets you through a shit deployment is people sending goodie boxes over to you. There aren't a lot of goodie boxes getting sent over. Lots of people are out of work. Lots of VFW halls can't get donations in. Lots of VFW halls can't even work. Like they can't go to the VFW hall and stuff boxes. Usually a lot of those goodie box drives are done by communities, and a lot of the guys that I've been talking to have said, yeah, it sucked. They were downrange. There was like no MWR tent, no morale and welfare tent. They got like nothing. So yeah, I'm supporting Operation Supply Drop this time around. And then of course in November, Intrepid does the Children's Miracle Network. Extra Life does Children's Miracle Network. And that's not usually my children's hospital charity of choice, but I still do my personal charity of choice to the hospital that saved my daughter's life. But yeah, I'm going to do Extra Life for kids. So count on that. With that said, boom. Let's see. Let's band together and chain combo eds during alpha. You can't, because I have alpha. I think advertisements is limited to 1. In fact, let me just check. Now that you're gonna say that, let me check. Ad time, edit. Yeah, limited to 1 per stream. So only 1 person can fire off an ad per stream. Let's see. What do you think the least picked crafting ability will be? The least picked crafting ability, siege weaponry, probably. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure. But we will find out. I was thinking Second Life. No, not Second Life. Did I say Second Life? I meant Extra Life. Extra Life is the not over there. Extra Life is the charity organization. So I can see Carpenter not being super popular. They won't make bows, and animal husbandry looks like it's going to be legit after talking to more of the populace. Yeah, I agree. Does an aircraft carrier count as armor? Yeah. So you've said that you will. Never mind. This one we did. I saw somewhere that accessing crafting patterns comes from monsters, upper node levels, and high-end reputation positions. Could we get a few examples of high-end patterns that players can access by becoming mayor of a tier 4 or tier 5 city? Node cities. And that can be accessed, and any that can be accessed if a guild owns one of the castles. I don't think a guild owns I don't think a guild gets any recipes for crafters. But yes, this is a good question. We don't have a lot of details on that. What about bots? They can XP drop or farm for you. Are the accounts with bots going to be banned forever? Yes. You get caught botting, you lose the account. Period. You're done. You cheated. Goodbye. And I think that's how it should be. If you get caught cheating, fuck off. You're a cheater. You're cheating in an online game. That's how pathetic you are. You're pathetic. You're cheating in a game. Okay? You're like the people who cheat at Monopoly. Die in a fire. Big question we talk about on the Discord is regarding the hitboxes. Will races having different size... With races having different sizes, will hitboxes be standardized, or will we see the long prophesized return of the odd job meta where dwarves are harder to hit, or perhaps move slightly slower on foot? Yes, you're Your hitbox scales to your character size. There's a reason why your racial stats are seeded, or why your stats are seeded by your race. Dwarves will have seeded stats. Orcs will have seeded stats. Humans, elves. Don't expect a dwarf to be as fast as an elf. There will be slightly different move speeds, slightly different hit points. A Renkai is going to have a shit ton of hit points because he's huge. A dwarf is probably going to have a shit ton of hit points because he's stocky. So yeah, there's gonna be stats. There will be stats based on your racial selection, and that pairs off very well with the hitboxes. Let's see. How do you plan on balancing the tab targeting and mouse targeting system? It sounds to me like either the mouse targeting will be highly useless, as tab targeting will be much more reliable, or every single competitive player will be forced into mouse targeting to get more bang for their buck. The second half of that you should have just left off. And then I could have said, it's real simple. Action abilities have the hard CCs and do more damage. What race will have the fastest base move speed? Don't know. Thank you for answering my questions today. Good night. Good night. If I had to bet Pyre, I bet the elves will have the fastest base move speed if they do variable move speed. Long time MMORPG tank. Love the work you're doing for all this. Nobody cares. Ask your question. I have a question. No shit. Imagine that. You have a question in the question thread. How will threat work? It is usually how I determine games I play. It is usually how I determine games I play on how the gameplay while tanking feels. Any explanation on threat? Yes, aggro management is a thing. Next. Well, hi there. Hi, Ninja. Are you worried that your player collision system will result in player griefing? New World just has some trouble with players boxing and other players constantly. As they should in combat. Boxing a character. Imagine that. Also, with your momentum-based system, are you worried about rubber banding and other object collision issues that tend to pop up when systems and connections vary so much within an MMO? Rubber banding is always an issue. I personally believe this. It makes me sound like a dick, and I don't care. I think if your connection speed is too low, you shouldn't be allowed to play on that server. Nope, I know, makes me sound like a dick. Rubber banding is a thing. However, rubber banding can be stopped based on server-side checks instead of server to client-side checks. With that said, this is somebody who has a problem with, yes, Sir Onzington already said it. This is a person who has a problem with player collision, not a person who has a problem with player collision systems. Player collision is absolutely needed in MMORPGs. When everybody can phase through everybody else, then positioning doesn't matter. Everybody can stack up, and that's just bad. This is absolutely a great system. Momentum-based systems have nothing to do with rubber banding. Those are two different systems. Rubber banding has to do with piss poor optimization. At the same time, if you've got somebody on your server playing with 450 ping, they probably shouldn't be allowed to play a game like this. If your ping is too great, you should be moved to a server that's more applicable. And if you say, well, now you're region locking me. No, I'm not. I'm not region locking you. I'm putting you on a server where you don't have a tactical advantage. So again, I understand it makes me sound like a dick, but that's just how life is. Hi Jay, how's it going? Hey, what's up? It's going good. I had a busy day. I got a lot done today. A whole lot done. And I got a whole lot more. Let's see. Have you seen the current Arcage flash sale thing going on? It makes me mad. The last time I saw this type of predatory flash sales was the land selection debacle in Chronicles of Lyria. You guys all know my stance on Arcage. You guys all know my stance based on Arcage's fucking boneheaded statement last week about pay to win. I don't care if Gamigo doesn't like me. I don't care if the Arcage team doesn't like me. I will go to bed tonight, sleep just fine. The Arcage team, Gamigo, sucks dick at how they treat their customers. Crolin, I don't know if Crolin got overruled, but obviously if he got overruled, he wasn't really the vice president because he didn't have the the testicular fortitude it took to make those changes stick. All Gamigo gave a shit about was making more money. All Gamigo cared about was getting your money. They delivered a shit product. They continue to deliver a shit product, and they continue to show they're a shit company with how they talk to their player base. You do not get to tell the player base that they're wrong about their definition of pay to win. I get to tell you, Gamigo, that your bullshit statement of, if I can get the item by grinding in game, it's not pay to win because the guy used his Visa to get it. Bullshit, because for every minute I spend grinding for that item in game, Mr. Visa isn't spending that minute grinding in game for it, so he's getting ahead of me in other areas. Gamigo is shitting in their pants because they know as soon as their contract is up, Cacao is going to take Arcage away from them. They overpaid for the Tryon assets. Arcage clearly isn't making them money, and they know they're not going to get Arcage 2. Gamigo is a shit company, and I hate the fact that they have my absolute favorite first-person shooter. Because unlike a lot of other weak-minded people who, at BlizzCon in 2018, don't you guys have phones? Fuck Blizzard. They're such a bad company. I can't believe they did this. Same person 5 minutes later. But that Warcraft 3 remaster, right? And then like a year later, fuck Blizzard on this Warcraft 3 remastered. Fucking company, I'm never doing anything again. Hold up, except Diablo 4. No, you either can accept what the company does or you can't. You don't get to be mushmouth middle ground. The company is making those decisions, not the game. You can say WoW sucks, but if you say WoW sucks because Blizzard sucks, don't let me catch you playing Overwatch or Heroes of the Storm, because then you're a hypocrite. I don't play any Gamigo game because Gamigo sucks and treats their customers like ass. So why would I play a single one of their game? But they have Iron Sight, which is an amazing first-person shooter that I can't recommend to people because Gamigo has the distribution rights. I should have made the color red. Vice President of Snowflake feelings, maybe. Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you right now, if Steven ever needs a vice president, just hire me, man. I will work from home. I will fly out to San Diego when you need me. You don't have to pay me a salary. You just have to pay my per diem in my hotel room when you need me in San Diego. I will tell the people. I will listen to the people. I will middle of the road this shit so that everybody's happy. Everybody will be as happy as they can be. So yes, I hate Arcage. I hate Gamigo. I hate the way they treat their customers. Well said, Jahlon. Gen X are the new Clint Eastwoods in the existing generations. Tell it how it is because it's true. Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt in anybody's mind that I'm going to tell you how it is. Because as you see, I ban people out of my channel. I ban subscribers out of my channel. If you're a dick, you gotta go. Chances are you didn't buy your subscription anyway. Chances are somebody gave away 5 or 10 or 23 or however many subscriptions and you got one. I'm like George Carlin. Like I'm the new George Carlin. God rest his soul. He's dead. I'm George. Let's see. Do you know if you need to start quests so you can enter different dungeons and raids? No, they're open world. There are some that you'll need to do the quests for, the 20% that are instanced, but that's your storyline, so you'll be going that way. This may be a weird question, but can a player stand on the head of another player, thus being able to make a tower of players? Maybe. Maybe. Let's see. If a guild in an alliance has conquered a castle, will the other guilds have access to the castle as well? Yes, I believe so. They did say that there are some features at a castle that only the garrison, which is the guild that owns the castle, can benefit from. But there are some features that the Alliance can partake in. So good question. Have you guys thought about giving master artisans the possibility of obtaining new skills based on what they've mastered? For example, a master fisherman could get a skill that by using their fishing rod would be able to fish enemies, or a carpenter building a wooden wall on the run to get cover. This isn't fucking Fortnite. What main mechanics are in place to prevent guilds from jumping from node to node to unlock different content? And what will be the main incentive to initiate node sieges instead of joining a stronger node? Ashes101.com nodes, my brother. You need to go read. Is there any consideration about making the seasons longer than 1 week? Will there be items only acquirable at one specific season? Good question. I feel like some people's questions are just people getting too hyped. I feel some people's questions aren't thought out very well. If it takes you longer to write out the question than it did to think of the question, your process is broken. This is a bit of a long shot, but are there clan halls type thing like in Lineage 2? Yes, they're called guild halls. Ashes101.com, guild halls. The guild section has the guild halls, but real quick, they can exist in nodes if you're the patron guild or on a guild freehold. How do you get a guild freehold? I have no idea. Let's see. How are quests going to be made programmed into the game? Is that really a question? How are quests going to be made programmed into the game? With Unreal Engine. Will they be procedurally generated due to the amount of different nodes within the world? Or so some variation of gather or kill X. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. My head. The people who can't spend 2 seconds researching. No, quests are not procedurally generated. They should film one of their live streams in winter season. Questions like this are why downvotes are needed. Yes. Yes. What the hell question is this? Yes, I think you will lose it soon. Yes, right? I mean, I don't try to be a dick, okay? I don't try to be a dick. I don't go out of my way. Oh, hold on, I need to get my floor mat. I don't go out of my way to be a jerk, okay? I don't go out of my way to be a jerk. But come on. Come on, do 2 seconds of research on the wiki before you ask a question. Don't worry, Jahlon, we're here to suffer with you and share the load. Share the load. Shut up, Samwise, you can't have my ring of power. By the way, somebody explain this shit to me. Lord of the Rings, the prequel. Coming out from Amazon Game Studios. I'm going to make the entire Lord of the Rings MMO meaningless. Because I'm going to walk up and I'm going to tell Gandalf, hey, the Ring of Power is here and let's load Bilbo up on an eagle and drop him off at Mount Doom. To be fair, the community has asked almost everything there is to ask about the game. No, not at all. Not at all. I have 15 pages of questions. I have 15 pages of questions that I could do another interview with Steven right now. I have 15 pages of questions. We can do this. Was wondering about what the motivation behind locking all characters to one node citizenship are, aside from the obvious part of preventing people from becoming a mayor with alts. Ding, ding, ding. What are you worrying about? What are you wondering about? What are you wondering about? You just figured out what the motivation is. Would there be no limitations to the encounters generated for alts? Or in other words, does citizenship have no other influence like race, NPC, hate, and yeah, citizenship has a lot of other influence, but the way you stop people from having alts that are mayors is you bind the account to citizenship. The other answer to that is if you're not happy, they could just limit you to one character per server. So, do you think if you're a bard, you will be able to play music in town for RP and stuff? I think you'll be able to play music. However, hold on. I'm being alerted to a flaw in my empire. 1 second. Flaw in my empire. 1 moment. Oh, yes. This is why I hate the world and I hate changes. I had a link to, where the hell is save? Changes saved. Perfect. I had a link in my Reddit profile and it's no longer valid. And I have to learn. I have to learn to not change website URLs, and I screwed up. It's fixed now. All is right. My empire is once again growing, not shrinking. Will pure archetype combos for classes like mage be good, or is mixing with other archetypes a better idea? So the double downs, the 8 double downs are the most potent but the least versatile. So bring this up. I need to get, no, not that. I need to get a stream deck so that I can have all these buttons mapped out so I can just press and turn them on and off. I think I'm gonna buy myself a stream deck. I think I'm gonna do it. So if you're any of the double downs, fighter, bard, or any of the red background ones, you're the most potent, but you're the least versatile because you don't have augments from another class. So you're gonna be good in some situations and bad in others. The way you change what you are hard countered by and who you hard counter is by changing your class. So yeah. Let's see. I think each class needs a unique ultimate spell. No, not at all. The reason why is that's going to be way too much work. Doing 64 unique abilities and unique passives, that's way too much work. That's way too much to balance. Way too much to balance. Do you think if you're a bard, you'll be able to play music? We answered that. I hope so. But I don't think you're going to be able to load MIDI files. I think you're going to have to write the music in game. My question is, Steven, can you answer Jahlon's questions at Paradox? Excellent. I did single character server. It just promotes multi-boxing. Yeah, I mean, it would. Could there be skills or augments hidden in the game as the reward? There are. There are. Will Enchanter be able to summon a band of instruments that can play a passive song for people who own taverns and shops? I feel like this class is going to be perfect for the role players on Ashes. That's actually funny. How complex will gearing be? No more complex than getting out of bed in the morning and putting your pants on. We already know there will be 16 item slots, but how many different stats will there be on each gear piece, and how many possible stats are in total on gear? So you guys know that I hate stupid questions, and I hate stupid questions because you got to ask questions that are short, concise, and answerable. Ask answerable questions. How complex will gearing be? Really complex because it's an MMORPG. It's an MMORPG with 64 classes, with 4 armor types, with 3 social organizations that allow you to specifically change the stats that are not traditionally found on gear. So you want to be a rogue wearing plate? You can do that. You want to be a rogue wearing robes? I will give you that. You want to be 2% body fat? I will give you that. But you got to put down the chocolate milkshake first. So yes, you will be able to have a complex series of gear. Absolutely complex. I really think, this is what I think they should do. I think Steven should do another AMA. But Steven and I should have a monthly AMA. Tell me this isn't a brilliant idea. Steven and I should have a monthly AMA. In 6 months out of the year, it should be on his channel. And 6 months out of the year, it should be on my channel. Steven will always be giving the answers. But we're not gonna let Steven pick the most voted ones. We're just gonna have them come up on like a roulette wheel. And when Steven gets an answer like this, how complex will gearing be? I'm gonna let Jahlon answer this. Yes, gearing will be complex. Next fucking question. Oh my God! See, so look at this. Look at this question. This question doesn't even fit. I specifically have the box designed so that the questions have to be small. Design philosophy behind class balancing and team combat mechanics. That's a statement, not a question. For example, what will make players choose a hybrid class like Mage Ranger? Mage Ranger isn't a hybrid class over a primary mage. Oh my God. I'm not even going to read your fucking question because you're stupid. That's not a hybrid class. It's not a hybrid class. It's not a hybrid class. Okay? It's a mage class with ranger augments. It's not a hybrid class. You don't have any ranger abilities. Will spell hunters have a stronger single target abilities, or will arc wizards have the strongest AoE damage skills? The fuck? Will spell hunters have stronger single target abilities, or will arc wizards have the strongest AoE damage skills but no support skills? Really? Is this a for real? Is this a for real? I don't believe this is real. Yeah, I'm trying hard. I'm trying hard to not flip a desk. So, would you guys believe me if I told you that one of my cats ding dong ditches me? Would you guys believe me if I told you that? One of my cats ding dong ditches me. It runs up to the door, it knocks on it, and then it runs away. Yeah. My cat ding dong ditches me. Such a jerk. Let's see. Why samurai class does not exist? They are so badass. Because this game isn't Asian. It's also why we don't have ninjas. Let's see. Posts like this should be deleted. Yeah. There's 3 other games mentioned in this one question. Yeah. Dude, my dog does the same thing to my office door. Yeah, man, he just did it again. He did it again. I thought it was like, I put a solid core door in, and I can't hear when my wife comes in and out of the house. My wife's bringing me dinner because in an hour, don't forget, guys, don't go away. In an hour, I'm going to be on the Golden Feather podcast. So we're gonna do some more hanging out. We're gonna do some more stuff. I like Bree and I like Vertec. They're good people. I like their show. So we're gonna get that set up in about 50 minutes, 40 minutes, whenever Bree wants to do the pre-setup. We're gonna be doing some of that pre-setup, and then we're gonna go over there. Yeah, they are chill. I have no idea why a chill show like that would ever want me on it. I've been on there once before. It was a good time. Hats off to you. You redeemed hats off to me. Hold on one second. Is this the one I think? Is this the one I think it is? I think this is the one I think this is. Nobody has redeemed this one yet. Let me make sure. Oh yeah. This is the one. So it is 6:04. I can't even stand up with this thing on. So little more down. Yeah, this actually hits the ceiling fan. This actually hits the ceiling fan. Stop it, you stupid thing. I guess I got to squat. Jahlon is a mage, confirmed. I know, right? I am a mage. I am a magey. So only because you redeemed that, I have to sit back down. Otherwise, I'm gonna keep hitting the ceiling fan. This is a big hat. Okay, this is a big hat. Let me. This hat is huge. This hat is heavy as well. Very heavy. Oh, this hat is smoking hot down at Disney World. I haven't taken it the last couple of times because I had the little one, but the next time I go down, I will bring my magic hat with me. Jahlon Mage confirmed. Correct. I'm saving up for the 10K ad time to troll chat. Yeah. You have that same hat? Yeah, this is a Disney classic. I love this one. Is the topic of the podcast a secret? I don't know the topic of the podcast, to be completely honest with you. I have no idea. I have no idea what the purpose or what the punchline of the podcast is. You know what I should probably do before we get started? I probably should go into my settings in here and chat and audio. Hello, let me see. I don't remember. It should be okay. It should be all good. I will have to stop my my stream a couple of minutes in advance, just so that Bree can get just so Bree can get everything on their show set up, and that'll also it should work out. You guys, I don't want you to go away. I want you to make sure you come over to the Golden Feather, but it'll give me the opportunity to it'll give me the opportunity to eat a little bit. I don't know what time my wife's gonna be home. My wife went out for sushi. It's kind of weird. My wife and her best friend go out for sushi, and they eat in the car because in Illinois right now we can't go into buildings to eat. So, in this guy's defense, Steven often talks about the benefits of other games mechanics have brought to MMOs. Conversely, his question can only be answered with actually playing the game. He is just bored as fuck or drunk at the time of the post. Oh yeah, let's get back to this. Where WoW BDO large-scale PvP is the complete... For example, Guild Wars 2 has an intricate buffing system for CC immunity, part spell interactions, and AoE caps that allow smaller, more skilled groups to battle larger groups. Where WoW BDO large-scale PvP is complete the opposite. The Guild Wars system plays well for both large and small-scale PvP, creating a high skill gap and allows for diverse team comps. Okay. None of that matters, okay? None of that matters. You've asked like 4 questions in this question. You've asked an unanswerable question. Don't do that. Ask a question they can answer. You're basically asking them to break down the entire combat system, and they've done that. Oh, really? I just wonder if guilds will try to force nodes to be a certain race. I doubt it. I'm not gonna have my guild's not gonna be all one race. The one race is non-Telner. I don't even care if people want to play Telner, they can be in my guild. The Jahlon hate for Telner has nothing to do with the Telner. It has to do with that one idiot we had in the community. We've had some better Telner come in. I love the fact that we had a couple of people in the community that just took their furry lolly shit to an unacceptable level, and the new community came in. Everyone's always talking about how bad Asmongold's community is. I'm glad some of them showed up because they told some of these really creepy as fuck people to shut the fuck up, and they became persona non grata. And I was like, excellent. We have enough people now that don't want to hear your shit that now the moderators have to take notice of it, where, you know, if you're one person among 30 people and you're weird and creepy, yeah, you're just picking on the guy. But when you're one person and like 500 people are saying you're weird and creepy, I don't know, man. You're probably weird and creepy. It's like when people say, Jahlon, you're such an asshole. I'm like, explain why you think I'm like concerned about this. I've got a binder full of performance reports, and I think on like 14 years worth of performance or of midterm feedbacks, I think the word abrasive shows up over like almost all of them. I'm abrasive. I'm sandpaper. I do not give a shit. I don't have time to spare your feelings. You manage your feelings. I'm going to manage my statement. You manage your feelings. If your feelings can't handle my statement, don't talk to me. Guess what? Discord has an amazing feature. It's called block. You don't like what I have to say? Block me. It's just like if I don't like what you have to say, I'll generally let you go. But if you go over a line, ban. I don't need you here. You're not needed. Can players transport weapons in caravans? Yes, but why would you want to? If yes, then what is going to happen when caravan carries 100 wood and 1 weapon item? Is there a chance to get that weapon if we destroy the caravan? Yes, because everything drops. Well, hold on. There is a chance to get the weapon because some of the stuff in the caravan is destroyed and the rest drops. Why would you ever transport a weapon in a caravan, though? I'm sorry, I can't take you seriously with that hat. That's okay. I found that people who claim to be brutally honest are far more brutal than honest. I would agree on overall, but I don't go out of my way to be mean and hurtful, but I also don't go out of my way to sugarcoat it, because it's like Dr. Phil says, you're fat and don't try to sugarcoat it because you'll probably try to eat that too. I don't know, you know, what people want. Like somebody, like one kid came to me once when I was in the military and he said, Captain, do you think I'd make a good officer? And I said, son, you're not even going to make NCO. Well, what do you mean? You have 3s and 4s on your EPRs as an airman, where basically your job requirement as an airman is to show up to work, not be drunk, and not blow anything up. And you're going to get a 5. And you have 3s and 4s. You're not even eligible to apply to OTS. You're in fact ineligible to apply to OTS. You're going to have to like do some amazing shit to even get me to change my mind about letting you stay enlisted. Well, I don't understand. You're late to work at least once a week. You can't pass your PT test. You can barely do your job. You have like 4 or 5 write-ups from the dormitory for having overnight guests in your room. For your 24-hour guests in your room. If you're too stupid to realize that you have your out-of-town girlfriend basically living with you, and you're not smart enough to realize all you have to do is sign out of the dorm and go anywhere else on base for an hour, and then come back and you've broken the 24-hour your guest was in your room thing, then you're not smart enough to work the system. So, yes, I'm blunt. Are there plans to have spells or abilities that temporarily place objects with collision? Yes. They already exist. It's called the Bulwark, and it's the shield thing. We played with it in Apocalypse, and it works really well. You probably will see it if we ever. I probably should like find some stuff in my Apoc videos and put together like, yeah, this is this. I'll try to do that. Let's see. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but dedicated classes like Arc Wizard, they should get the same 4 mage school of augments that the other classes with a secondary mage archetype get, right? Not necessarily. For example, a rank 3 blank gives area damage upon landing. With a fire school augment, it could do a fire explosion for a lot of fire damage instead of regular damage. We don't know how augments work. We don't know if you get augments from doubling down. So we're kind of lost in the dark about augments. We don't know. We just don't know. We don't know what we don't know. So, let's see. When closed beta is released, how many players can fit into one server? 8,000 to 10,000 concurrently. Will there be a player limitation from the start, or will it gradually grow? If they're putting a player limitation less than 8,000 to 10,000 in beta, we shouldn't be in beta. How are things going with the transfer of accounts? Boom. Somebody's gifting subscriptions. I appreciate that. How's it going with the transfer of accounts, and when will it be possible to purchase sets in Russia at regional prices? You're not getting regional pricing in Russia. If a guild is strong enough, could they hold more than one castle? They could, but they'd have to be really badass. If a large majority of players hate a feature that is present in the alphas betas, are you willing to either fix the problem with that feature, or if it's unfixable, will you willing to scrap that feature? First of all, if a minority of players hate a feature that is present in alpha and beta. So if a majority of 10,000 alpha 1 testers hate a feature, you want them to destroy the feature, even though you're listening to a vocal majority of a percentage minority. Yes, the point of alpha and beta The point of alpha and beta is to get feedback. Uh-oh, it's the golden feather. They're watching me. It's not good. Gotta be on my best behavior. So, let's see. Will summoner pets scale with the stats of the summoner? If I put plate, will they get more armor? If I increase my critical chance, will they get a higher critical chance? That's a good question. That's a good question because we know almost nothing about the summoner pets. And I like a couple of things here. It's short, it's concise. They ask a couple of specific questions that are answerable. Even if they don't answer more than these questions, we can infer a lot. We can infer a lot from this question. Will there be a legendary recovery system for legendary items? Steven has said that legendary mats will not be easy to obtain. Oh, look at that. The Golden Feather now has a subscription to my channel. That means they have to show up all the time. And some legendary weapons could be one-offs. If this is so, what happens if a one-off legendary is given out to a person and say that person is banned or the person just stops playing for a long time? Will that legendary be lost or would it go back into the rotation, allowing someone else to obtain it? If somebody were to be banned, and they had a legendary, then their account should be destroyed. So their item IDs should be destroyed. So the legendary item should be eligible to go back into rotation. If a person doesn't log back in, that's tough shit. That person owns that item. That person owns that item. So there is no reasonable explanation for why that person just suddenly loses their item. So the question legendary item guy quits was presented in Steven's stream 2 months ago or last month. Yeah, the problem is that he takes the legendary with him if he quits. Now, let me jump on that. Because it's a subscription-based game, if the guy stops paying his subscription, then the legendary item could return to the pool because you're not a current player. So everybody drop a follow on the Golden Feather. Yeah, we're going to be going over to the Golden Feather later on. We will be hold on, I got to give instructions to my daughter. So I will be yeah, we're going to raid the Golden Feather. We're going to take this whole raid over there. So we will venture over there. Bree will want to do the audio check, so we'll do that. And then I'll raid us over there. Who is the Golden Feather? The Golden Feather is Chippy Bree and DJ Vertec. They are a podcast. They have been going strong for years. They have actually, for a small podcast, they actually have some pedigree to their program. They've interviewed Steven, they interviewed Margaret. So they are now that they're settled, they ventured across the country to new homes and new adventures. So they're settled now. I imagine that they're gonna blow up a bit as content creators. Now that they're settled in there. I mean, because when you start thinking about moving across the country, that takes your eye off the ball. So, yeah, they're a good show. Produce? You gonna be a producer? Or do you just want your blanket? You just want to go to your blanket? He's a good boy. He's tired. He's an old man. My cats are 12. The boys are 12. So, let's see. We got time to finish up some more questions. Oh, we got lots of time. Appreciate the follows. I don't usually call out follows anymore, guys, because sometimes we just get follows and follows. But yes, every follow is near and dear to me. I appreciate them. So I did see a bunch of you follow today. So don't let us disturb you. I like listening in on these talks. Hey, you're not disturbing me. I just, you're here. When you're ready to do audio, let me know. I got Zoom open. While I understand that character animations and movement fluidity are going to be a work in progress, can we expect to see some sort of dev footage on what goes into animating the character movement and transition fluidity? Games live and die by their character animations and movement fluidity. No, they don't. It would be nice to see that this is highly regarded and taken extremely seriously. All right, anecdotal evidence. Anecdotal evidence is never evidence. Just because you believe that games live and die by their character animations and movement fluidity isn't true. You can have a game with absolutely shitty animations, but you can make it work. Like Revelation Online didn't have amazing combat, right? The character movement was okay, but the you've got games that look like trash. But yeah, Among Us is crushing it. I wouldn't say that those characters, I mean, that's not an MMO, but he says games live and die by their character animations. That's not true. That's an opinion. That's anecdotal evidence. There's no evidence here. Show me, if you're gonna say that games live and die by their character animations and movement fluidity, then you better have some sources, some references. Otherwise, it's like, okay, that's a great opinion, but I don't share it, and let's move on. Now, do I think that Intrepid has the opportunity to earn a bunch of easy points by going back to the dev diaries? They don't have to show anything about the game, but they can just interview developers and teach gamers about the industry. Yes, absolutely. In fact, I'm very disappointed that Intrepid isn't doing that. Transparency doesn't have to be transparency about your product. If you really wanted to be a studio that changes the nature of the MMORPG genre, start doing educational series like that. Have Chris Atkins, just put a camera on Chris Atkins, or I don't think Jinsey wants to stream, but grab somebody who's comfortable with streaming, set the camera up, have them stream just a process, just a part of the process, talk, answer some questions, like have the camera on Chris, like on his, from behind him, behind him, and then talk about, have somebody asking him questions. So he's just doing art. He can be in the zone doing his art. He doesn't have to read chat. He can just get asked questions. I can see why they wouldn't want to interview employees for scalping reasons. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm pretty 99% sure Chris is on the webpage. I think Chris Atkins is on the webpage. So it's not like, yeah, Chris Atkins is the lead character artist. He's already on the webpage. So companies, Intrepid's competitors already know that Chris works there. There are millions of gamers wonder why they haven't done a series like The Office for gamers. I would definitely check it out, or have they? Yeah, I think that if you did a series like that, you would blow up your community involvement, your community engagement. You would simply say, part of transparency is teaching the community about MMOs and why certain decisions have to be made. They don't have to talk about Ashes in that. In fact, Chris doesn't even have to do an Ashes piece. Chris could just do some basics, or he could work on an Ashes piece we've already seen and explain it. I think that'd be an amazing show. Chris, you could get Bacon, because Bacon's willing to talk. You could get some other people there talking about like how things work. Yeah, Intrepid Studios, the reality show. Not to that extreme, but you could definitely that's easy marketing. That's easy apples. Look at how easy this is me coming up with suggestions that would be generating them marketing and hype, almost zero cost, zero threat, zero risk, but high dividends. So yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. That leads us into some stuff. How will taming and animal husbandry stay in demand in 3 to 5, 10 years' time? Will expansions add new animals just as they add gear in Smiths? Nope. They're just going to start with the original taming and animal husbandry system, and they're not going to think about it again in any expansions. Question. No shit, you're in the questions thread. How much naval content will there be versus land content? This question has been answered about 700 times. Do a Google search. First off, I just want to say thank you to Steven, nobody cares, and the team for an amazing game. Still don't care. My question is, we know, just ask the question. Okay, let's just look at this right here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, right? Out of 5 lines. This much so far of 5 lines is not needed. How will secondary role of fighter augment the abilities of the primary class ranger? I find it hard to pick between the two, either melee DPS or range DPS, and if you could maybe point out how the two might affect each other, it might be able to help me when it comes time to log on for the first time and not take 1 hour picking my primary class. Oh, so this is completely self-interested. This question is completely self-interested, not to the point where you actually care about the question, but it's all about you. Okay, look at the wiki and look at Ashes 101. A fighter gets the fighter's abilities. A ranger, it's a gimmick. And no, I'm not officially associated with Ashes of Creation. You would have had to have been here for the last 3 hours and 34 minutes. It's been going downhill since. Do a Google search or a wiki search. You're asking them to tell you how the secondary role of fighter will augment the abilities of my primary class ranger when they've talked about how the fighter charge specifically works. They haven't told anybody anything about the augments. So I don't know why people are asking them about the smallest leaf on the tiniest branch of the tree, 19 trees back in the forest. You gotta ask them questions that are answerable. Also, I know this person hasn't done any research on the game because rangers can spec into a melee build. So a ranger who subs fighter can 100% absolutely use fighter as an augment. There is a world where a two-handed Great Maul fighter or ranger exists. A two-handed Great Maul ranger can be a class. So it's give Jahlon an ulcer day. Man, it kills me because Toast has to go through all of these questions. Okay? Short, and she even asks on the first page, short, concise questions, right? First I want to say thank you to Steven and the team. Great, that's awesome. Go into another thread and do into the thread, the appreciation thread, right? People keep asking horrible questions. Yes. That are either unanswerable or not thought out. Yes, exactly. There's a Discord for these kind of questions. Yes, this is the sort of question, okay? This is the sort of question you bring to the Discord and you say, hey guys, I have a question. How is this going to work? And then people can explain it to you. Toast is amazing. Guys, not only does Toast filter out the bad questions, but she answers she answers these sort of questions and gives people at least an answer. Will Ashes of Creation be on Stadia? I play ESO there and it's super convenient. Okay, this isn't a question. That doesn't matter. Will Ashes of Creation be on Stadia? No. How is tattooing an artisan profession or would it be a service provided by an NPC? Good question. Get rid of the hello. I mean, that's fine because you didn't like drone on for like 19 words. Is tattooing an artisan profession or would it be a service provided by an NPC? That's a good question. I like it because we don't know. Hi, team. Okay, we'll let that slide because it's 2 words. Regarding node leadership, partnering together for common necessities in the region. Will the mayors have some capability of easy communication channels to the neighboring node mayors? Okay, so regarding node leadership partnering together, okay, I get what they're saying. Okay, now I get it. Will mayors have some capability of easy communication channels to the neighboring node mayors? Good. That's a good question. Actually, that's a good question. Will we be able to craft tacos in the game? What the hell kind of game would it be if we didn't have tacos? Yeah, somebody asked for final gameplay mechanics when the beta isn't even out yet. Yes, absolutely. Alpha 1 is sometime this fall. That is true. What's your plans on making nodes different aesthetically according to the regions as well as the weather cycle? They've already talked about that on the wiki. Hi there. Are you prepared for the cheat develop industry with hard sanctions against RMT and server-side checks? Yes. Yes, they've already said that. Steven wants to ban hammer cheaters. Will guilds be able to flag other guilds as combatant for guild versus guild rivalry and or political? Yes, you can declare guild wars. So if I understood this correctly, every server is going to be somewhat unique because of the players driving the plot forward with their choices. How is this going to impact future game updates, balance patches, and add-ons? Well, there's no add-ons. For example, if the European and American server were to develop the most opposite way possible, wouldn't they end up with completely different content? Yes. It's kind of self-explanatory. Can I leak the Discord? I don't have a Discord link available quickly at the moment. Does somebody have it? I mean, I can get it. I probably should put their Discord, put the Ashes Discord in my, put the Ashes Discord on my Twitch page. Good thought. Let me do that. Send you to the rules channel, create invite. Copy. You got it? Okay, cool. You got it. Thanks. I got it. I wrote that down. I'll put that there. Telner Taco Tuesdays. I don't know if I want to eat a Telner taco. So let me do this. Let me do. Let me do this. Unfortunately, I can't use my. I found a flaw in the Wave 3 microphone. The Wave 3 microphone picks up my my Bluetooth headset, so that's a flaw. That is a very major flaw. I'm gonna have to come up with some sort of workaround for that. Let's see. You guys shouldn't hear anything. Telner are people too? No, they're not. Telner are abominations. Telner are abominations. Let me do this. And let me do this.
The new Hyundai Sonata with remote smart parking assist. Oh. You won't find that on Accord, Camry, or Altima.
Get 0% APR.
Oh. Always something. I think those 4 games. There we go. Now I know. Did I just ad bomb subscribers? No. I did not ad bomb subscribers. I can't ad bomb subscribers. Subscribers get bypassed. I don't have any ability to give you heard an ad? You guys got an ad? Like legit, you guys. Oh, you heard the ad? How did you guys? Hold on. Yeah, hold on. I want to check something. Games have a chance of becoming successful. In fact, this game is got no chance of becoming successful because I'm going to stop playing it. Are you guys hearing me? You hear that? Because okay. I really want to go negative. I really just want to be negative, and I don't want. That is yeah, I'm talking about Crowfall. I'm gonna hold on to that stretch for a second. Let me do that again. Tell me. I'm not gonna talk. You guys tell me if you hear this now. Oh, nothing? You guys aren't? Okay, so the problem is, so you guys know what's going on, just because I like to share. I got my Wave 3 microphone set up, and then the benefit of the Wave 3 microphone is that Wave 3 microphone is that it's like having banana meter and virtual audio cables. So I can control things differently. However, I haven't quite mastered everything yet. So I need to make sure that I can do the live stream or the podcast in a couple of minutes. And I was like, wait a minute. I need to be able to make sure I hear them. So that's gonna be rough. It's always weird when you add new technology into the mix. Always weird. Where are you? Where are you? Oh, hi. Like I heard him. There's not too many places they can hide in here. Will Braver of Worlds tier be brought into testing prior to the official start of Alpha 1? Any update on the start date for Alpha 1 with no NDA? Here, let me tell you how that one's gonna work. Ready? That one's gonna work something along the lines like this. No, they're not gonna bring in Braver of Worlds before the official start because they'd have to get like 2,500 NDAs signed. I imagine what will happen is the Leaders of Men and the Phoenix Initiative testing people will be the people who test, and then they will be they will move on to Alpha 1 so they don't have to get signed NDAs from everybody. So that'll be how that works. Paradox Gaming Network has been streaming for 3 hours and 43 minutes. Yes, he has. Yes, he has. Let's see. Since there's an underground realm and race, will there be underground castles? Maybe. I would imagine not. I would imagine that the 5 castles are above ground because they were part of the core viable product before the Underrealm was created. But they could have just easily moved one of the castles Underrealm. With clerics being the primary healing archetype, will they always be the healer in a party, or do you see them being able to fill a different role? If so, would parties want a cleric that isn't the primary healer? Let me say this. A cleric is always going to be a healer, but a cleric will have the ability to have a DPS build. If at any time a cleric has a DPS build that is better than a equally geared DPS class, everybody will just play cleric. That way everybody can heal if needed. So no, you're not going to see a cleric. You're not going to see a 2 cleric party with one of the clerics being a damage dealer and one of them being a healer, because then you've completely jacked up. You've completely jacked up balancing. So no, that's not going to happen. What do you think they will bring the character creator on before alpha, beta, or launch? I imagine the character creator will come out in beta, only because they still have a lot to do with the characters and the meshes and the faces. They're not ready to, they're not done yet. They still have to build it. You can't have it before they build it. I imagine you can put a Freehold in the Underrealm. Yes. Anywhere that there's a node, you can put a Freehold. What area of the game has been discussed the least yet? Augments, classes, augments and classes would be the thing they've discussed the least. Let's see. Cleric Masterclass. Yes, they are. I like how they did Priest in WoW, where the priest healed by doing damage to the boss. Yeah, I liked how they did Chloromancer in Rift, and that's going to make a comeback in Ashes of Creation. So that is going to make a comeback to Ashes of Creation. Remind you guys, go get your dinner or your snacks or whatever, because in a couple of minutes, I assume Bree will be starting the audio checks for the live stream, and then we're gonna go over to the Golden Feather and hang out for a little bit tonight and hang out with them. They do a good show. Let's see. With the corruption system, a non-combatant does not become a combatant when they attack a corrupted player. That means a corrupted player can't even fight back to defend themselves, as they would become more corrupted. Is this your intention? Yes. You committed murder. The peasants can revolt and kill murderers. They don't need to flag up to kill you. That does suck. Shouldn't have murdered somebody. Will the instance raid bosses drop some of the best things in the game? No. Or will that be from the open world raids? Yes. Or more in general question, can you tell us more about the raids in general and what priority endgame PvE encounters have in AOC? Very little. Many believe this game is mostly focused on PvP to make the endgame encounters hard. Is this true? Yes. I like how they, oh, never mind. While the node system seems incredible and the potential for every server to be completely different sounds amazing, my concern is what, if anything, is in place, be it design or otherwise, to prevent a node meta from forming and creating an inevitable homogenization of servers. Player choice, player agency. If the players decide to form the meta to get the best content, the players decided it, then there's nothing they should do for that. If you don't like it, blow stuff up. We know the in-game will be a fog of war, but what style will the game map be? Color, old style yellow parchment, or something completely different? Good question. In Final Fantasy XI, they had fun ways to expand your inventory with a series of quests called the Gobby Bag. A friendly goblin would expand your backpack for you if you brought him the requested items each time. It was a very fun horizontal progression within the game and added a few additional inventory slots with every upgrade, while Ashes of Creation have quested personal inventory expansions without relying on artisans. I think they should. The Gobby Bag was amazing. It was an annoyance, but the results were great. I'm interested in exploration. Will there be NPC towns or other cool locations to find? Nope. There'll be locations, but not towns. There'll be minor race civilizations, but they're not nodes. So yes, there will be things to find, but they're not going to be nodes. And they're not going to be functional towns. The towns are the nodes. In regards to Apoc, is that still slated coming back for Siege and Horde mode testing, or is that not coming back? It's still slated to come back. What are you going to do for classes to add flavor to whatever class you're playing? For example, individual class for druids, which don't exist, warlocks, necromancer. Or are they just basically root classes with slight differences? The classes are flavor. The archetype is what matters. Can a monster develop into a town? No. With no add-ons, please tell Steven to let us move around all of our UI elements. You mean the UI elements that you're going to be allowed to move around? Can secondary archetypes perform their role function? Could a Dreadnought or a Broodwarden tank at all for even a group? No. A Broodwarden can because it's a summoner. If a fighter tank could tank, why would you need a tank? If there's going to be... So, is there going to be penalties for killing mobs lower level than you? In Lineage 2, if you killed a blue mob, you got next to no XP and no drops. I'm asking, so if there's a certain material you need off a mob, am I going to use time leveling a second character or diminish my gold reserves on buying what I need? I could have farmed myself. If there's a penalty, are the mechanics for me to turn off XP or lower received XP in order to farm item material I want? No, you want to be able to twink, and you didn't have the balls to ask. At which point in the node system will I be able to unload my bags to sell stuff? Will there be a guy in the very first stage that will help with that? I'm having a hard time visualizing the first week in game launch. So am I. I don't have an answer to you. I imagine that you're going to be able to sell stuff to the vendor, but there's not going to be a market or a marketplace until stage 3. So, no markets, no marketplaces until stage 3. See, are there any plans to have an option where you can give subscription time? Nope. If you want to give subscription time to your friend, send your friend the money in PayPal. Simple. Questions about artisan. Question about gathering artisans. What option will gathering artisans have in transporting their harvest materials when away from their node? Train mounts with additional storage. Node perks that allow NPC couriers. No. Caravans. All right, guys, I'm going to jump up real quick because then we're going to start our getting ready to transition. Let me take this off the screen. I'm going to be done with this. I will be right back, and then I imagine we're going to start sound and stuff. Be right back. Alrighty. Let's see. Okay. Let's watch as Jay breaks things. As I break things immensely. Oh. We're going to oh, you know what? I'm not gonna be able to I'm gonna have to stop my stream because she's gonna need my audio, or she's gonna need my camera. So because my camera obviously can't be dual purposed. So that's okay. I have to end the stream and raid us over there. We'll be fine. Oh, not right now you don't. Okay, good. Perfect. Just my audio. Hey, that's amazing. If for my audio you're gonna need me to talk, and I have already proven that I can talk aplenty. I can talk aplenty. Let's see. Uh-oh. How many things can I break at one time? Hello? Hello? I can hear you. You can hear me? Perfect. And I'm fairly certain that my chat can hear you. Perfect. Oh, nope. Okay. So let's see, guys. Oh, not the other girl. That's Bree. Not her. Yeah. Okay. Good. So they can hear me. I can hear them, and you guys can't hear them. So they can do their thing. Let's see. I really recommend Dead Pixels. It's really funny short clips too. I'll write that down. Dead Pixels. You can share an audio through Discord. Yeah, they're using Zoom. So, am I through to you now? Oof. Oh, wow, amazing guys. All right, so let me jump out to my my talking scene. For my chat, for my stream, we've been going for 3 hours 56 minutes. I'm going to raid us over to the Golden Feather. You guys all get up. You guys get up, stretch, refill. I have my full bottle of tea for the Golden Feather, and I'm gonna give them the money, the money, the time they need to get their stream set up. So we're gonna bebop over there. I'll see you all in about 10 minutes, and then I will be putting Saturdays on. No, I'm good. I'm gonna bring them over there. That way they all healthy. They can get up. They can stretch. They can get tea, and then we can get set up. So my stream, I will see you all on Monday, and then make sure I'm gonna raid us over to the Golden Feather. Make sure you follow them, and then watch as they interview me. See you guys. Yeah.